Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Okay, let's mute YouTube. Mic check, mic check. If anybody is watching, can you please put a 1 in the chat? I can definitely hear you. Okay, very good. All right, let's see if you guys can hear So the issue last time was not me, it was the audio from the computer. So let's check. Can you guys tell me if you can hear the audio from the computer? I'm gonna play it now.
Welcome to the Social Proof Podcast, best podcast in the world.
Did you guys hear that? Okay, cool. We got it fixed. So the issue was StreamYard, not me. Cool, let's get this going. If y'all hear me breathing heavy in the mic, let me know, please. That tends to be an issue that I have. So first and foremost, this podcast or this live, whatever you want to call it, is being brought to you guys by 750approved.com, the credit industry's most comprehensive DIY disputing software. 750approved.com was developed by me as well as a team of my other professionals to help bring you guys the ability to get custom letters for every single customer and every single account for every single dispute reason on your credit profile. So 750approved.com will help you guys dispute all the negative items that you have in question on your credit file for $49 a month plus credit monitoring. Now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, if you guys could do me a huge favor and hit the like button on the way in for the YouTube algorithm, it helps get this broadcast out to more people. It tells YouTube that this information is important and it's wanted to be seen. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to take a look at the Social Proof Podcast. The Social Proof Podcast is a podcast known for bringing good information as well as very creative information to the masses, just like podcasts like Earn Your Leisure, $1 Million Worth of Game, Finessers Only podcast. Like those podcasts are bringing new talents on so that they can explain what they do to the public and see if their services work for you. Now, the issue that I take with most of these podcasts is that while there is an element of truth in most of the stuff that's being pitched in the podcast, the people who are appearing on these podcasts are getting their fame from these podcasts. Typically speaking, you never hear of these people before they hit the podcast circuit. These podcasts all became huge during the pandemic when everybody was kind of stuck at home, and Earn Your Leisure blew up, $1 Million Worth of Game blew up, all of these podcasts blew up, and then the copycats of those podcasts, such as Social Proof, started to appear and do the same thing. So these podcast creators basically find this talent and they run the podcast circuit. Now, the issue that I take with this, let me show you guys something. So while people like David Shands and the other people from $1 Million Worth of Game and EYL will tell you that the people are not paying to be on the podcast, that might be true. But what they are doing is they are being affiliated with these podcasts by creating affiliate links in the description area of the podcast. So when you go, you watch these people, you hear these creative ideas. How can I get in touch with these people? First thing you do is you go to the description area. You click the link. When you click the link, you come here, which is these gentlemen's page. Now let's take a look at what these gentlemen have to say about what they're pitching. Oh, does it not play? Let's refresh this.
Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Diaz Boone, real estate investor, real estate coach.
It's Smitty the GOAT with the credit and business credit field.
Mel, the young mogul, commercial real estate investor and credit coach.
So we're beyond excited that you made it to this page, which means that you want to be a part of this.
Just in case you guys didn't hear it clearly, because their audio's a little bad. They got to hire somebody to fix their audio. These gentlemen do business funding. They do commercial real estate, and then the other gentleman does residential real estate. So this is what we're going to be listening to during the Social Proof Podcast. I'm going to listen to the podcast with you guys today. And as we go through the podcast, when I hear something that needs to be explained a little further, or maybe I feel like a lot of things were left out, I'm going to pause the podcast. I'm going to explain it to you the way I hear it. And then I'm going to finish the statement out if I can, so that you guys can actually get complete information from the podcast. This way, should you want to reach out to these gentlemen and do business with them, you're actually going in with an educated mindset, not going in being sold wishes and dreams. Does that make sense? If you guys think this is a good idea, please put a 1 in the chat, because I want to make sure that I'm bringing you guys information that you definitely want to hear or need to hear. And also put a 3 in the chat if you've ever heard of Social Proof Podcast, $1 Million Worth of Game, or Earn Your Leisure.
5-day challenge. This 5-day challenge, where we're going to show you specifically how to get up to $100,000 in funding, and take that funding you want to get this week and enroll it into different businesses, roll it into residential real estate, roll it into commercial real estate, and actually build wealth and build cash flow right now. Look, what I want you to go ahead and do is scroll down to the bottom of this page and join the challenge. I recommend joining VIP because you're going to get that slight edge, the extra time with us. You're going to be able to ask us specifically.
All right, so we get the point. They're selling a package where all 3 of them come and they all 3 teach you guys different methods to get a gang of monies that you're not going to know what to do with. So let's go back to the podcast. Let's start watching this, and let's see what these dudes have to say. And the reason why I chose Social Proof, because these gentlemen have been on Earn Your Leisure as well. I feel like David Shands actually provides a little bit of pushback. He actually asks some probing questions that will make these gentlemen actually explain the information a little bit further. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this particular podcast, and let's see what they have to say.
Start running ads too, and I need y'all idea, because y'all are like very, very good at what you do. Do y'all market at all?
I do.
Yeah, marketing?
Yeah, I do.
You're marketing?
Yeah.
This is what I was thinking. Actually, Trey's working on it right now. I want to have ads that say like Social Proof Podcast, the worst podcast in the world, or name 3 podcasts that are better than Social Proof Podcast, or something like that. I feel like it's going to drop. Yeah, I mean, not just words.
Oh, just words.
Yeah, that like leads them to the podcast.
Makes them try to.
I like the worst thing is.
I was about to say that. I like the worst.
Yeah.
Yo, he's making 10 of them. We're gonna run tentative joints.
3 podcasts.
Because
you would click on that.
Yeah, I would.
The worst podcast. Why they so bad?
Why you gonna tell us?
That's why I love talking to people who understand how to grow a business. This is dope. I'm so happy to be here, man. Y'all 2 have been on the podcast. Just me and you, Smitty. Excited to meet you. But actually, we were talking. I was talking to Boone yesterday, and he said he had this concept, something like y'all are coming together on a concept. And I thought it was so powerful because one of the biggest things that plague our community and entrepreneurs in general is access to capital. Mm-hmm. Right? Where do we get money from? There are people that are fighting legislation, and people really understand that people are underserved. And he was like, y'all coming together to, 1, help people get funding, and 2, invest in other ideas, and also make money helping people get funding. Is that right?
Yep. So we help people get funded. Then we tell them how to go ahead and move that to businesses, hard assets, and ways to make money short-term and long-term with wealth.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, before we get started, because I got a million questions, have everybody introduce themselves. Let's start with you.
So my name is Derek Boone, DS Boone on Instagram, and real estate expert.
So before we keep going, I don't know if you guys are noticing a theme as to how these little groups of people are coming together dealing with these podcasts. 10 years ago, you had Jay Morrison and his whole group of dudes that were following him. If you guys are aware of who Jay Morrison is, he was a supposed real estate guru. Turns out dude wasn't really investing in any real estate whatsoever. And now he's kind of been cast aside by those who he actually taught the game to. And they have moved on to create bigger and bigger things. And this is what seems to continue to happen. One of his students, Marcus Barney, who is known as Him 500, actually studied under Jay Morrison, took that mindset, took that thought pattern, and then created his own thing. Now he's running Recession Proof, a bunch of academies, and he has a bunch of conventions that he does. He's huge now. And then you have the other dudes, the 19 Keys, and other dudes that come along with that. Real Estate Trapper, Wall Street Trapper, all of these gentlemen peddling the same thing to the same audience over and over and over again. Now we have this group of gentlemen following in the same suit as the Him 500s. I can almost guarantee you that if you check their credit card records, if they do actually have credit cards, you will see that they paid for a Him 500 course or something like that type of course that taught them how to do the things that they're doing. I'm not going to allegedly feloniously type stuff. that they're doing, and then it just continues to proliferate. So this is a pattern that we're seeing with these podcasts and with these gentlemen that appear on these podcasts just like this.
In Philadelphia, and also a real estate coach. So we help people buy properties from duplexes, triplexes, 4 units, so they can go ahead and make money now and also create wealth long term.
Gotcha.
All using other people's money.
Yeah.
Love it.
My name Ramel New Worlds, Mogul Lifestyle _ on Instagram, known as the Young Mogul, commercial real estate investor, credit coach, and I help entrepreneurs go out there and get started in the commercial real estate business with little to no money down strategies.
So you're more residential.
Yeah.
You focus more on commercial.
Facts.
What's better? Do y'all ever argue about it?
All the time.
Well, we're gonna argue today. Smitty, talk to me.
Yeah, Kenny Smith from Chicago, Smitty the GOAT on Instagram. I like to teach people how to leverage the credit and the business credit to be able to leverage that to start businesses and investments, and be able to create streams of income from credit as well. There's different lanes we can get into to be able to make money off of it as well.
Gotcha. So you
He's the
make
best.
money how?
I make money. So the first thing we do is start a funding company.
So I make money. Shit, how do I make money? This is where it starts to get a little weird. Now, I've watched this gentleman's IG reels before. He has some very interesting ways of getting people approved for credit. Very interesting ways about how to get approved for credit, and also what you should do after you've been approved for credit. But just pay attention to the body language, pay attention to the words that are being used, pay attention to the descriptions of how he actually makes his money.
We can be able to get other people funded.
So you have a funding company?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So
Funding company.
leverage LLCs and our personal credit, or just LLC to be able to get funded and then have a charging fee.
That might be the first time I ever heard
And then
somebody
have a charging
say that they can teach someone how to start a funding company. But where is this funding company? Here's what I understand. Like, where's all this money coming from that companies are so eager to give it to people who may or may not pay them back?
I think they first idea is to make money off of it. Whether somebody got to start paying interest, even though we go to route 0% interest for the time frame that we do have it, and try to leverage it without paying interest. But eventually you're gonna have to start paying some interest, which they make money off you. But it comes from the bank, man. I'd rather use somebody else's money instead of mine.
Of course.
It comes from the bank, man. I'd rather use somebody else's money instead of mine. Now, as we've been paying attention, a lot of these regional banks and even some of the bigger banks, these banks are failing left and right. Our inflation is going crazy, although thank God it's starting to retract just a little bit here. But what you'll notice throughout this pattern of these gentlemen selling these products, selling these courses, the information that they're putting in here, what you will notice is the ability to just willy-nilly say that basically the money's coming out of thin air. What do you think happens when an unlimited amount of money is created and no more products are being created to buy with the money? Supply and demand dictates. If there's too much cash in the economy and not enough people buying real goods and services, inflation will ensue. This is the problem that these gentlemen don't seem to care about. I'm gonna teach you how to get $100,000 in business funding, but they're not talking to you about the interest rates that come along with that $100,000 in business funding. They're not talking about the fact that you have to have damn near perfect credit in order to be able to procure low interest rate business funding. They're not talking about the fact that utilizing credit cards to fund a business is a terrible idea because credit cards should not be used as working capital. They're not talking about any of these things. What they want you to do is they want you to buy their $5,000 course. And then after that, all bets are off. If you ever notice, and I've worked with some of these people in the past, I know what their chargeback rates look like. You know what a chargeback is? When you buy a product and you're unsatisfied with it and you call your bank and tell them that it was a fraudulent product. These gentlemen, like the HIM 500s of the world, all of these other dudes and stuff like that have allegedly insanely high chargeback rates. Do you know why? It's because once you find out that you've been peddled a bucket of bullshit, you want your money back. Let's keep it going.
I got two things on that too.
Yeah, I want to get your philosophy.
So it's funny you said that, right? So you understand, you know that banks only make money by lending money. That's how they.
Hold on. I got Skinny Buddha in here. This is whack. Find something else to talk about. Is that me or are you talking about the podcast people? Skinny Buddha, please feel free to continue commenting.
make money, right? So they're taking all our money and then they're lending to someone else for a higher percent and they're giving us pennies. But on the backside, I met this guy. We was with Neo. We was coming back from Bali, and I was in the Amex lounge, right? And the guy, I was talking to the guy. He said he went and bought a bar out in Bali. Funny thing is, you can't buy real estate out there. You rent the land and you build on top of the land. So you might rent the land for 100 years. But he was
hold on. You can't what?
You can't buy real estate in Bali. You have to rent the land and then you could build on top of the land. So you'll rent it for 50 years, 100 years, and things like that.
Why would
you're not a citizen?
Oh,
you're not a citizen. Yeah.
So someone can, we just can't because we're not. Yeah. We don't live there. Okay, yeah. I got you.
So
that's smart.
Yeah,
Texas, your country. Yeah. That's dope.
So he was telling me about that, and then I said, "So what else do you do?" He said he has a collection service company, so he does collect debt. And I'm like, okay. He said, but what he does is he'll go ahead and buy. So debt collectors, they're buying you. Somebody owe you $10,000. I'll pay you $1,000 to collect that $10,000. But you're just basically selling the debt over to me and still making something on the money. But what he does is he'll go ahead and collect. Let's say, for example, he needs to collect $1 million, but he's collecting $1 million worth of dollars, but he only paid $50,000 for that $1 million. He'll collect the 50, maybe 70 just to make a little bit of profit, and he's writing off everything else as a loss because he technically was supposed to collect that money, but he wrote it all off. So that's possibly one of the ways to do it. When he broke that down to me, I was like, damn, that's genius.
That is genius.
So he's writing off $1 million and only collecting enough to recoup the actual cash investment that he put in, and the rest is a write-off.
Do y'all loan people money?
Not really. No, I don't.
I ain't with it.
I don't.
You feel me?
I just like if in there. Well, family members always get. So I like to do this with my family. I literally give my family like a credit line. Like if you borrow $500 from me and you don't pay me back, I'm not lending you out money anymore. But if you pay it back, I don't mind loaning you money as long as you pay me back. So I literally use that with my
everybody
family
in your family has a $500 credit line.
Not 500, but it's just whatever amount that you'll borrow from me. If you don't pay me back, dude, you burnt that bridge. You burnt that bridge to ever borrow money from me again. So I use that strategy for real, my family.
I like that. I like that. And the thing is, and this is again, it must be a good industry, but there are companies that say, I want to give you this money. And there's companies trying to work with people who have maybe less than perfect credit. But I still don't understand why that is such a big business, because the chances are, it's almost like the bet is that I'm not going to get this money back. You know what I mean? So the fact that like y'all are teaching people how to get funding, I feel like people need to hurry up before they realize, this is a failing business. You understand what I'm saying?
By the way, this is already starting to happen. Commercial banks, credit issuers are starting to realize that loaning money out at a certain rate is a losing game. You have creditors like Sam's Club, who work with Synchrony Bank, who have now canceled their Synchrony Bank cards with Sam's Club. They're no longer letting you get these non-PG, which means non-personal guarantee, which means you can, in fact, actually just use your EIN number and your business information to garner credit with that institution. They're not doing it anymore. Floor & Decor has canceled their contracts with their commercial credit lender because of the same issue. So because of the way we've been operating with business credit for the last 3 years, a lot of these institutions are starting to strongly pull back, strongly lower the credit limits. They're starting to move away from giving this money out with this type of qualifications. This is the reason why.
I do understand what you're saying. You think they're going to stop though? I wouldn't think. I don't.
Grace and Mercy just commented that we just want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And while I would like to believe that, Grace and Mercy, that's not what you want, because the numbers show that you guys buy the lie. You buy the sensationalism. You buy the hacks. You want to run the play. You want to be the finesser of the industry. I want to believe you, but the numbers indicate otherwise. Because when you have people out here giving legitimate information, they don't get the followers, they don't get the views. But when you got somebody out here teaching you how to finesse the banks and run the play, those are the guys who go viral. So I want to believe you, but the numbers say that you're not right. Prove me wrong.
I don't see that happening.
America's based off of lending. The lending money.
Doesn't it crash at some point?
But in a way, they're printing money So we just consumers. That's why they love credit card debt, because we just keep buying back into the economy, which is just the cycle. The same way while they gave everybody stimulus and all that money just so they can start buying. So in Philadelphia, what's out here too, but Saks, but it's a Saks on City Line Avenue. It's like a main strip in Philly. Saks never has a line. When that pandemic time happened, everybody was giving all that money. They built an awning around the store because the line was going around the store. Around that.
Say this dude is lying. Say that when people got their money from the pandemic, that $1,200, whatever them stimmy was that going out. I didn't get no stimmy. But when they were going out, y'all wasn't paying down y'all bills. Y'all wasn't paying y'all loans off. Y'all was going, not even to Saks. Y'all was going straight to Louis. Straight to, who else is it? Who else is some of the big dogs on the block? Y'all was going straight to them ultra high-end stores, buying all the bags, buying all the shoes, buying all the bundles, just buying up stuff. And the reason why the economy, if you guys are not paying attention, we have a very, very, very rich class of people. And then we have a very, very poor class of people. The middle class is being completely supplanted. It's going away. Because when these people get money, they don't spend it in a way to become here to try to hopefully get here. They actually spend it to stay here, which gives the money to those who are already here. It's skipping the middle class. We are our own worst enemy. So this gentleman in this particular point is 100% correct, but he also did not answer the question, which is what happens when the money doesn't get paid back? If we keep printing the money, doesn't it just crash? The answer is yes. If we keep printing money, the money ultimately is not worth anything. So while we over here talking about we want our reparations, we want $1.2 million per black person in America or in California, at least if California is still trying to do that. What happens when you get the 1.2 million and everybody got $1 million now, which means $1 million ain't worth nothing? If you guys don't look at money this way, if you guys don't always bring it back to the money, you will be one of the people who are left here. You will never get here.
At times, so they're giving out money so people can spend.
Yeah.
So it's just all kind of cycling through the economy, basically.
Yeah, but
it's
the
all
economy
coming
has
back.
to pay for that.
Yeah,
Point, though.
that part is a little above my
So
favorite.
you got to think. You also got to think like the banks, like he said earlier, they make money by lending out money because that's why they want to acquire us as the customer, because we put our money in the bank and now they lend it out, and that's how they make money in between. So let's use Chase for example, right? Their strategy is they're going to lend out high limit credit cards so that they could hopefully get you to become a customer and open up a business account with them or a checking account with them. So now they get your business on that way and hooking you in on a credit card, right? And when they do give you a credit card, you notice when you go swipe your card and you pay that little merchant fee, the bank get paid. So every time you go and you spend that credit card, they're getting paid as well. So they want you to have this debt. Obviously, it could go left where banks will start pulling back as they don't get paid because they got to keep their balance sheet strong. But like that's the whole method. Like put the money out, we make money by giving the money out, and we take it from y'all. Anyways, So,
but actually, David, now that I think about it, they are lowering people limits and stuff and scarcity times in the world. They
Really?
Especially on loans.
So, they're lowering our limits too. So they is a little pullback a little bit.
Sure.
It's like my Amex limits was going down a little bit, even though I spent a lot of money.
They did that to everybody. I don't say everybody, but
I would say because my limits was
people I know.
high. You know what I mean? That ain't low. I'm like, wait, I can't even. Why is it doing that? And they literally said they're lowering the limit.
Gotcha.
That's like, that's
Especially on real
crazy.
estate loans.
It's
They
based
change
upon-
all of that.
They changing it. Yeah.
it's based upon you
refis.
as the person, right? So if you're not spending the amount of money that they lend you, they're going to take it back. But if you are maxing it out and spending it, paying it back, they're going to increase it.
Gotcha.
So it's still based upon like the activity of the person.
So this particular set of information is actually true. Any student I have, any customer that I have, they always want to know. Everybody wants to know the same thing. How can I increase my credit limits? But they're scared to spend on their credit card. You have to break the habit of using cash, using your debit card. If you want to get higher limits on your credit card, you have to prove to the lending institution that you need more money. They don't just give out money to people just to be giving out money. There has to be a purpose. So for a person like me who blows up their credit card seemingly every single month, they're always going to look at my transactional history and say, all right, he's at 30,000, but he's spending about 23. He's paying it all off real easy. Let's go ahead and try to hook him with another 20,000. Then they'll up my limit to 50,000. See if I'll up my spending. Eventually, what the hope is that I'll get trapped and ultimately have to pay a monthly interest rate charge because I can't pay it all off. It's just a game. So he's 100% correct. If you do want to get higher credit limits, you must begin to use your credit cards in a way that inspires the institution to give you more money.
That's utilizing.
Gotcha. So there is a sense of urgency to get this money that people are giving out right now, right? And you all teach people how to get this funding, right? But how do I prepare to get money from a bank? What do I need to start? Because before we get into what to do with the money, let's secure the money first. But the securing of the money comes with some responsibility on part of the person.
Yeah.
What is that responsibility? What has
As far as like the requirements to apply?
Yeah, so the first, we like to get the personal credit together. So you have to meet certain criteria of what the banks want you to meet. Once you meet those criteria, then you're eligible to be able to get access to the capital. So that's along the lines of having nothing negative. A lot of people always have like little medical bills, like I only owe this, I only got this little account, and it's like, well, the banks see that you're not even responsible with $100. Why would we lend you out $10,000? It doesn't make sense.
Like your cousin.
Yeah. So make sure everything's a clean slate. No negative, no late payments, no derogatory marks, no collections, and then we also have to build it properly as well.
Okay, hold on. Let's back up. Because we're saying make sure there's no lates, make sure there's no negatives. But if I'm in a position where I have lates and I have negatives, is it a wrap for me?
It is not a wrap for you. We have to take care of it though immediately and like now, because it's a process. It's not always going to be overnight that we can clean it up or get it back to straight. But you have to go through the process.
Gotcha.
So that's the process of cleaning it up, credit repair.
So this is where I'll fall off with the credit repair, cleaning it up situation. This is what gives you guys this information. Hey, Jay, I need you to clean up my credit report. That's not the way credit report works or credit repair works. There's no cleanup. There's no legal, legitimate cleanup. If you messed up and you didn't pay your bills, or you messed up and you were late on paying your bills, that information is supposed to be used against you to represent exactly who you are in your ability to borrow and pay back. So what I don't understand is why adults who have made it from childhood to adulthood and still living can't understand the fact that at some point in time, somebody must be held accountable for financial malfeasance. And it's you. So when you come to me saying, hey, Jay, I need you to clean up my credit report, I'm going to say, no, I don't clean up credit reports. What I do as a credit repair specialist is I will write letters that will try to force an investigation into accounts that you have in question as to the accuracy, completeness, fairness, or validity of their reporting. That's all a credit repair specialist can do. There's nobody out there that can legitimately get your credit report cleaned up in 30 days, 90 days, 6 months. Anybody saying that, you need to run in the opposite direction. Dispute letters are called dispute letters for a reason. They're called dispute letters because you're disputing information in the hopes that if the banking institutions are not doing what they're supposed to be doing by completely, fairly, accurately, and validly reporting your information to the credit bureaus, if they're not doing it, that's what will force a deletion or removal from your credit report. But it is a process to find that out. Please stop just believing, oh, we got to clean that up. We got to clean that up. Credit cleanup don't exist. Never has, and it never will. My question I pose to you is, if credit cleanup truly exists, the hell are we doing reporting for credit anyway? If it's just that simple. Make it make sense.
You have to educate yourself on it, because a lot of people is a little gray area with paying other people. You can do it yourself if you educate yourself, or there is people out here that will be able to clean it up for you. Just got to pay.
Do you help with that?
I transition more into the getting you access to the capital, and now business growth more so than just credit repair. I used to do it, so I started at. Shout out to RPX.
Now, what I want to ask you guys, I want to put this question out there. If anybody is helping people clean up their credit reports, and you can seemingly charge whatever you want to get somebody's financial life back on track, why would you ever leave that industry? Why would you ever leave the industry? If cleaning up credit is truly a thing and it works, and you could just pay somebody to get it cleaned up, why would you ever leave an ever-growing industry where there's seemingly an endless amount of customers that will pay you beyond your wildest dreams to fix their financial lives. It's because it don't really work like that. And people like this, they tell on themselves because they'll say, oh, I used to clean up credit. Why would you ever stop? Why would you not just put a company in place, set your company up like I have mine set up, have employees that follow the same process that you follow to just clean it up? It's because cleaning up credit doesn't exist. There's a reason why I have 500 customers and not 5,000 customers. It's because I tell the truth. At the end of the day, I'm going to tell you flat out, I have the same power as you do to dispute the credit items or the accounts on your credit report. I'm just doing what you can possibly do. I just probably know how to do it a little bit better. But there are no guarantees here. Ain't no credit cleanup. If I hire a woman to come clean my house and I walk in here 6 hours later and I done paid her and my house is not clean, I'm gonna ask why it ain't clean. This is why so many of you guys are disenchanted when it comes to credit repairs, because we don't tell y'all the truth about what it really is. We do not tell you guys that credit repair is simply investigating the accounts in your credit file, and that there's probably an 80% chance that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Or even if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, there really is no other solution besides continuing to send letter after letter after letter after letter, unless you have relationships with attorneys who can then sue on your behalf. But even then, most of the times those attorneys will tell you this is not a suable offense. I want you guys to start getting the truth. So some of you guys might not like me doing videos like this because it does expose a little bit of information. It does remove the finesser's mentality from this process. But I need you guys to get the truth at all costs.
But I don't do it anymore.
Gotcha. So you started with credit repair, and then you moved into, let's just get funding. Let me work with the people who are in somewhat of a position to do it, right? Who are like responsible.
Yeah, for the most part. If you meet these criteria, then we can get you access. But otherwise, I can send you to someone, a resource of mine to be able to clean it, and then you come back to me.
I actually trust you more with the funding because you did credit repair first. So you're going to understand the game. What are you saying?
Just so people watching, like those type of individuals don't feel left out, it's a lot of ways, even without going through full credit repair, that you could fix your credit. Like, for example, for me, when I first started, I had a 520 score. And what some of the things you could do is, like, let's say if you have a collection or you're late payment, you could literally call up whoever the creditor is and just say, hey, look, listen, if I pay you this, can we do a pay to delete letter? So that's one of the things I did early on. So I owed, who did I owe? I owed Sprint. Sprint send you your last bill.
Sprint, bro.
So remember when in the beginning when I told you guys I guarantee that if you go through their credit card statements, you'll see that they probably studied under him 500. So I heard my man say, shout out to RPX. I didn't know what RPX was. So I went into Google. I looked it up. It sure as shit. Him 500. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. It just proliferates down the line. Just a new one born every day. A new set of dudes that come from the same lineage every single day. Every 3 months or so, you'll see podcasts and it'll be another set of dudes talking about we putting together a collective to try to get people information that'll help them build wealth. They all come from this. And this man came from Jay Morrison. When Jay Morrison fell off, he took over. Now, I've heard that there's some gems in recession proof. I haven't taken the course yet because I'm not going to throw $3,500 at this man like that. I don't need it. But I don't be lying to y'all, man. I don't be lying to y'all. Let's keep it pushing.
Sprint sent every black man on Sprint.
Sprint sent my last bill to a different address. I didn't know about it. You pay off your bill, but then it so happened it's a balance they didn't tell you about fees. It was like $190. So I said, look, listen, I give y'all $100 right now. You take it off. They were like, yeah. But I said, I need a letter stating that you're going to remove this. So when I get that letter, I'm going to give you my card info. We were literally on the phone, like quicker to draw type of thing. So I got the email. I gave him the last 4 digits of the card. And then it removed like that. And then also, when I first got started in real estate, I was a real estate agent. So I had to
So a pay for delete does not work like that. I have relationships with all of the major collection companies. I'm going to tell you right now, they're not giving you a letter before you make payment. Not after 2020. They used to do that like that. This is old information that he is regurgitating that somebody gave him. But as a person who actually calls and is on the phone with collection companies day in and day out, I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to make you pay the bill in full, number one. Number two, you're going to pay in the hopes of getting that letter back. What's going to happen is you'll pay the money. Once your payment clears, they will submit a request to the credit bureaus to remove the information. At that particular point in time, once they do that, they will then email you a letter, or maybe even hard copy mail you a letter, letting you know that they did request the removal. But guess what? Even at times when they do request the removal, the bureaus don't have to remove it, because the bureau's job is to report accurate information, in which case you did satisfy this collection, so it's paid in full. We're going to leave it at a zero balance. That collection is going to continue to affect your credit score, just like it was unpaid. So don't think that it's just this easy. It's not this easy. They like to present the information as though it's just that easy. It is not.
To kind of become a credit repair expert to help my clients be able to get approved so I can make money. One of the things that a lot of people have are they have maxed out credit cards. So Herman was one client. She had an Old Navy credit card that was $1,000. She owed $900 on it. Her credit score was like a 610 or it was like a 590 or something like that. She put $800 on that card, brought it down to 100, brought her utilization all the way down to 10%. Her score went up 100 points.
Dang.
Because she only had one card. So that one card messed the whole thing up. When you got 10 different cards, then it fluctuates. She had one card, and that literally jumped her up. So put it in this perspective. She was able to become a homeowner after paying $800. So sometimes it's not even full-blown credit repair. Sometimes like paying down one of your $500 card down to $50, or calling a creditor and say, look, listen, I remember my barber did this. He owed somebody $4,000. He called him right on the phone. I told him, he did it while he was cutting my hair. He said, I got $2,000 right now. He took it right off his report. 30 days later, it wasn't showing no more.
And the name of the letter is
Pay to delete.
Pay to delete.
Yeah.
So get a pay to delete letter. Okay, that's good.
So you get full-blown credit repair, but you know, just for people that's listening, like that's one or two ways you could do it just on your own today.
Once again, I told you there's always an element of truth in the lies. There's always an element of truth. Pay for delete is a very real thing. But they're not doing you no favors, because they can take the money from you and not delete it and still get the same thing. They're not doing you any favors, especially not in 2023. So while he's giving you a real life example of how pay for delete works, he's not giving you a real life scenario of the way the way it has to be positioned in order to make it functional. Because telling you the truth that you got to pay that whole $4,000 is not palatable. Telling you that you got to pay, that you get to pay 50% of the money you owe, is something that we can all look forward to. I do that. I dare each and every one of you that have collections on your credit report to go ahead and give that a shot to see if it works for you. Also, there's another thing in here that he's not telling you about, which is the fact that some collection agencies don't even own the debt, so they don't have the power to do a pay for delete. There's collection agencies, then there's debt buyers. A debt buyer purchases the debt from the credit issuer, from the original credit issuer, Capital One, Chase, American Express. The debt buyer buys the debt. They actually buy the paper. They now own your debt. They can be negotiated with for a pay for delete. However, a collection company which simply just represents the original debt holder, the original creditor. They don't usually have the power to delete or even request a deletion from the credit bureaus, because they don't own the debt. They just represent the company that owns the debt, who ultimately has the ability to request a deletion, which they typically do not do. Whole truths, not half truths, whole truths.
Yeah, because there are some people who are like really in the mud. Like you gotta
talk.
Pay your bill. Yeah. He like, it's really like, don't talk to me either. I would connect you with somebody because you need to fix some other stuff.
I've been sitting to you. You gonna send somebody else.
I was working at the Cheesecake Factory. I didn't have a whole lot of money, but I was just like mildly irresponsible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just need to pay it. You know, I was just paying minimum. So that's some good information. What you saying?
Yeah, I was going to add on to that, right? Because it just comes down to like education, number one, right? So simple as getting on the phone. If you look at all three of your credit reports, so you got Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. by law, everything on those credit reports should be the same. It should be accurate, right? So if your address is not the same, they might have 123 Main Road on Experian, but on Equifax say 123 Main Street. If that doesn't match up, you need to dispute it and get it updated, right? You may have a collection with Sprint and it says June of 2012, but on TransUnion it says May of 2014. So just looking at your credit report and making sure that it's accurate, because the creditors don't always report the information the right way. So just as simple, look at your report, get on the phone, call them up, and have those conversations. You could just start repaying your credit that way before you go and pay somebody thousands of dollars.
Gotcha. So you help people get funded. You're in commercial real estate, help people in commercial real estate. You're in residential and help people with residential. Yeah. How did this collaboration come about? Because I'm very interested in that, man. And it's beautiful to see that people are actually collaborating. Like, you could have your own program teaching people. Everybody can have their own, but how did we come together?
So how this all came about, me and him had did stuff in the past a while ago, and it worked so well. Like, I'm big on, I don't care how much money you make, I don't care all the big things you do. We not sinking. Me and him just did a live, and it just flowed like Styles and Kiss. It just was clicking. Then we did a class, and it was clicking even more. And then the fulfillment on the class, we was just aligned. So we just like, let's keep this going.
So y'all went and got Sheik Luch. They call me Sheik.
Damn. But and then we kind of just brought him in, and it was just like, it was aligning too, it was just flowing. So that's how we put it together. But I love what we doing so much better than anybody else, and I'll stamp on that, because a lot of people show people how to get funding, and then it's like, oh, I got you 100,000. Well, what do I do? Go about your day. That's what you do. But now we're like, it's a lane. Go ahead and get funded. Then you can get into residential real estate, maybe make 30, 40, 50 grand. But then you can transition, flip that 50 grand into, a storage facility or something commercial. So it's like a train just stopping at different stops. As long as you just stay on, you good.
Gotcha.
Y'all ever notice that all you need to do is all you got to do is, all we teach people to do is we flip it. We leverage it. We teach you how to finesse it. It's never anything real in depth. There's never anything like real deep. There's never anything legitimate. We just teach you how to flip it. You get the 100 grand, we'll teach you how to flip it. But what y'all don't know about legitimate business funding is that the moment you get funded, let's say you do get funded on a $50,000 business loan with a 11% interest rate, 9% interest rate, that next month, that first payment is due. Now, typically speaking, the audience that these people are coming to, your credit is not the best. I could count 85 out of 100 people that attend every single one of these classes. 85% of people, I promise you, the credit personally ain't right. Now, I've been doing business on my own I'm 41 years old. I've been doing business since I was 23, so 18 years. No matter how much money I make, I still have to personally guarantee every business loan I get, whether it's for real estate or whatever. Ain't no way out of personally guaranteeing it. So once you have to personally guarantee it, they're going to tie it to your assets. If they don't have to tie it to your assets, they need to tie it to the receipts of a proven business. It's not just as easy as just getting $100,000 of business loan. This is the reason why they don't teach you to get business loans. They teach you to get business credit cards. And they credit stack in hopes of you being able to accumulate $100,000 in business credit cards, of which they take 20% right off the top. So if you get $100,000 in business credit cards and you're forced to pay them $20,000 off the rip, and you don't have a proven business to start paying that money back, they got $20,000 richer. You're $20,000 poorer, but you owe the money back, and you don't have a way to pay it back because you don't have a legitimate business, because they got you the funding first. They didn't make you get a proven business concept, a successful company in which you could then expand upon, buy more product to fill already placed orders, get a new office for an already successful business where you need expansion, you need more space, you need more people, you need a new location. They don't teach you those things. if you get the money, I'll teach you how to flip it. That's as backwards as it can possibly be. That's as backwards as possibly be. I don't even understand that. And for that, they gotta earn it, man. They earned it. They earned it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Come on, y'all gotta stop this.
So what's your perspective on collaboration? I think more people need to collaborate.
Oh yeah.
I love collaboration. It could go left and right because you got to have the same morals and values and ethics. So, I've done partnerships where you just don't, we don't have the same morals and ethics on how we think about things. But I think what works with us is not about the money. It's more about the impact. And when we did our live and we did our class together, we showed up because we wanted to impact. It wasn't, hey, bro, where you at? How much time did you put in or how much money do you have to invest in this? It's about, did we get the results? Do we got the testimonials? Are they happy with the service that we're providing? And then it was less work, right? So we did 4 classes. I did 2, you did 2 versus when I did my own thing, I got to do all 4. I got to manage the back end. It's a lot of pressure on one person versus having somebody go, okay, we could relieve the stress. And, you make more money doing it that way and it's less work.
You're listening to this podcast right now, but there are a bunch of people like you that will be listening to your podcast
Themselves too.
right now. Yeah, I feel that. What's your perspective on collaboration?
I like it. I think it helps a lot of more people at once and gives somebody a view of that they can be able to do that too. And they don't have to, some people may not see it. You know what I mean? Especially where I'm from. People don't see stuff like this, especially when it comes to putting our minds together and be able to create something like this. So I think it's good for people to see it, for they can be able to do it themselves too. And I think we can hit more people being able to do it in collaboration style instead of just by ourselves.
Those are all really good politically correct answers.
Ooh, hit 'em.
But there has to be some sort of apprehension with collaboration. One, we've all seen people change with money. We've seen some people have some sort of ego complex. We always have to consider that someone's going to do something not extremely ethical, especially when money's involved.
I think it comes down to not
why you
being
need to break
so
up.
quick to say yes and be a little reserved. Like for me, I'm a little reserved. Like for example, he reached out to me to collab and I was a little reserved. And so we probably talked in the DMs probably, I don't know how many times before I actually gave him my number. And then we finally got on the phone to talk because I was just like, I got to fill you out a little bit. Because he could have came to me with a $10 million check. Like, nah, I still got to fill you out a little bit more and vice versa. So I think one of the ways to help prevent that is the vetting process a little bit more. Like even like in real estate, you got to vet the tenant before, you got first, last, and security, I'll bring you in. Nah, let's vet you out before a little bit. Let's fill you out. What's your background? What's this with this? Sometimes you might even check out their place that they're living at to see how that looks.
Really?
So, yeah, so all those things play a factor before you just say, let's collab. And I think also setting clear expectations. So all 3 of us, we get on Zoom calls or 3-ways, FaceTimes, like, this is the plan. This is the long-term goal. So we plan on doing this throughout the year. Are you with it or not? If you're not with it, all right, this is the percentage. Are you with it or not? This is the plan. This is the game plan. What you want to do isn't really morally ethical. I'm not with it. If you're not with that, then it's just not going. I think just setting it real clear. There are always things can creep through the cracks when money comes into play, but I think 80% of it could be covered by having those type of convos.
Gotcha. Y'all have a contract?
Well, we
we put one together now, but
Y'all have
when
a
we
contract?
first did it, it was
Bust
just
their
like,
ass.
let's
just
do
did
it.
Yeah.
He bust their ass with that one. Y'all have a contract? Now, here's the deal. They have a website. It's too late. You know you done messed up. Look at this. They got all these testimonials, supposedly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They got 10 testimonials. They got products, platinum. So right now, there's money coming in, and there's no legal business set up. Now, understand these gentlemen are trying to teach you how to take your money, flip it in a legal way, in a way that's going to create what they said, create wealth moving forward. But as 3 separate gentlemen, as 3 separate entities, they still don't have the mindset that everything got to be put on paper. I don't care if you're doing business with your mama. Any legitimate businessman knows that the very first thing we need to do is iron out the terms, get a contract put together, 750 approved. That's my company. However, the back end of it, the AI generating software, that is not my company. I own a portion of it in which there is a contract which states I own 25% of it. Everything needs paperwork. How can you do business without paperwork? Website done. Money is already being generated. But the answer to the question that they was just asked, hold on, let's do this again.
Money comes into play, but like I think 80% of it could be covered by having those type of convos.
Gotcha. Y'all have a contract?
Quick.
Well,
we put one together like now.
But yeah.
When we first did it, it was just like, yo, let's just do it.
Yeah, off trust. So, how do you feel about not having a contract?
Come on, man.
I mean, I trust them for the most part, but I see
How long have you known them?
These dudes met at recession proof. I guarantee it.
Let me see. I think Moog is like 2. I don't know if it's been
a year, a little over a year.
A year and a half, 2 years. I think Boom probably a year.
Only reason I'm having this conversation is I'm always thinking of the viewers, and I think what you guys are doing is amazing. But
come on, David.
So, for instance, me and what my wife do is amazing. Like, we have a great relationship, but I'll say something, and then we'll argue about the thing that I said because she thinks I said one thing, I think I said another thing, and it's not on paper. So, like, I really wish there was like what's it called, a stenographer?
It's a flip.
What's it called? I so wish. Because I'm like, yo, you were in the conversation we talked about, and it was different. So for the viewers, like when we start putting these collaborations.
Everybody who's been in a relationship, is married, you've all had these situations where he said, she said, I said, you said, I always tell my wife, nobody has a transcript. I can't prove you wrong. You can't prove me wrong. And sometimes, typically, if her feelings ain't too involved in it, it'll start to quell the situation. But what happens when this happens with somebody you ain't sleeping with? With somebody there is no penalty for you dealing harshly enough with? What happens then? And this is what he's trying to poke around and say without... I mean, he realizes now he didn't hit a nerve with them. He done kind of messed up with them a little bit. Their youth is showing. Their inexperience is showing. Their lack of legitimate business savvy and acumen is showing. Let's see how this winds up.
Together, because I think it doesn't work more than it does work, and especially,
big facts.
I think what's also awesome is y'all all have your own individual businesses. So I just wanted to prove it, just out of curiosity.
So just for the record, we actually putting a contract together right now. Like it'll probably be done like tomorrow.
Yeah. It's in review.
Yeah. So
I got you. So before y'all, okay, I got you.
So we learned from someone else, and we said, look, even though we already got some steam, it's not hurting anything to stop and put something together real fast. So just for the sake of conversation, we are putting something together right now. But the previous stuff, let's just run it. Yeah.
Another question, all y'all have your own individual businesses that are doing well. How do we pull away from our own corporations that we're working on to nurture this particular baby, right? Like we're putting a tour together right now, and it's really, really tough because everybody got their own life and their own business. And then we got to come in and check in the chat, hey, what's going on with this business, right? But, somebody might be super distracted, like, yo, come on, we supposed to do this.
Stop it, David. Ain't no pulling away. You know what?
I sentence you to 500 lashes.
500 lashes. Stop lying. Stop lying. Ain't no business to pull away from. These dudes came together with an idea, a little bit of information that sounds smooth, and the whole business, and nothing but this business is the business. They gotta stop this mess. These dudes don't have no real business. Allegedly.
Thing, right? So how do y'all manage that?
So what right now, the biggest thing what we're doing now, we brought in a mentor that it's also bringing in finance department, marketing department, admin,
mentor.
right? So now instead of
Is there any chance that mentor's name is him 500? Or somebody associated with him 500 and recession proof, because that's where they met? Because they went to recession proof to figure out how they could make some money and do big business. Nobody shows up to recession proof with an already proven successful business. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Everybody who goes to recession proof is trying to find a way to finesse their way to $1 million. You know what? I'm gonna call it right now.
A bullshit?
Yep.
A bullshit?
It is.
A bullshit.
Right.
A bullshit.
Right.
of us having to do a lot of heavy lifting in this partnership, we now have someone else that could come in here and do all of the checks and balances. Because before, like when we was doing all of ourselves, and it was crazy. Like, you know, I got my webinar, I got this business, I got to go on this appointment, and then we trying to show up to do this, and you can't give your all to everything. So what we're doing now with this new project, we do have, you know, our mentor coming in here, and I'm giving us certain resources to make sure that they run all the back end on it.
Got you. Got anything to say on that? Smitty's a quiet one. I don't like Smitty, man. He need to be observing. Like, he get some people some money, bro. Like,
he the truth.
Nah,
he
You don't
the
know
truth.
what this dude is talking about.
We can talk about some. We talk about some other questions. And I got you on the back.
I got okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just warming up right now. So I'm warming up right now.
No, I got you.
All right. So the I want to have like a conversation about building wealth, and some people maybe don't understand the value of real estate. And I know, Ramel, you don't do like traditional real estate where it's like I got a building, a retail building, then I'll fill it up with tenants. Well, I guess you do like the storage units, right? But like I want to talk about like the psychology behind long-term wealth, because I'm just now getting into the understanding of it's better to buy and hold and get some cash flow going versus let me just find something that I can flip it. The more I can make on the flip, the better. But it's not always better, like long term. So how do we start turning our mindset to thinking long term?
So for me, so I got 2 or 3 things. So for me, I would start out doing sales. So I was a wholesale and I was a real estate agent. So I was real estate agent first, then I was wholesale. 1 month, this was pissed me off. I had about the exact number was $67,000 I was supposed to make in profit between 3 different deals, and they all terminated at the same time.
Flips or
wholesales.
Wholesales.
All at the same time. And this was my birthday month. So it was just like super pissed off. So the idea of starting back all over again in January was just, it just didn't sit right for me, especially, you know, say new year, new resident. Like you starting off like, damn, I got to start off all over again. So that was the idea that made the switch for me. Like I need to start getting like more properties, the whole rentals and things like that. And then also one of the things that also helped me get started was I was listening to this podcast, and the guy was on the podcast, and he said what he did was he bought 2 properties for his daughter. He said one property she can sell it to pay for college, she could sell it to go ahead and start her business. And the second property is she can move into it or she can sell it about how she really wants. He bought them properties super cheap, but by the time she turned 18, they paid down, and the value is so crazy where she's able to do that. But just like the idea of me buying 2 houses can set up all of that long term is just amazing. And then the last thing with long term wealth, you can literally dip into the same pot over and over again. So for example, I bought a property in 2021. I bought it for $193,000. I actually own 2 of these on the same block, across the street from each other. I bought a property. One of them I bought for $193,000. I put 45, let's just say $50,000 into it, updated and everything as a triplex. I rent out each unit for $1,250 a unit, right? I refinanced the building, so I put a loan on it for $380,000 and I pulled out $100 and something grand, right? So now my loan is $380,000, but the value went up even more, and now I'm actually selling the building. Like right now, we're gonna be closing in the next 3 weeks. I'm selling it for $485,000. So now my loan amount is $370 something. So $485 minus 3. So basically,
and you already pulled out $100
tax free that I used to go ahead and buy across the street, which is worth $550, and I only owe $280 on that building.
Dang.
So now between two bills, I can pull out 200, 300 grand between two, but that's in 2 years. So long term, I can go and dip in. And if I didn't even want to sell it, I could just refi again. Pull. The only thing is you got to watch your cash flow. The higher the mortgage, the higher the higher the loan amount, the higher your monthly mortgage payment. So you just got to be mindful of that. So a lot of people say, refi, pull all the money out, but then if you got a triplex, you cash flow on 200.
So what he's not talking about is how you actually get into the initial properties in the first place. How do you get into an initial property in the first place? Well, you got to do a hard money loan typically. If you don't have the credit to qualify for a regular residential loan, you're going to have to do a hard money loan. And that's 99% of real estate investors, even the good ones, end up doing hard money loans on their properties. A hard money loan is extremely expensive money. And you are up against the gun to get that flip done and refinanced in time to be able to actually not lose money. Now, when you start talking about refinancing a property, you're refinancing the property based upon the loan to value. So what you have to hope to God is that the renovations that you did on that property brought the value of the property up so high that it not only covers the currently standing mortgage on it, but it qualifies for what's probably right now either 75 to 80% of loan to value, which means that no bank is going to lend you more than 75% of whatever that value is on that property. His numbers are very conveniently beautiful, and it does work out that way sometimes. But more often than not, you're going to get stuck in a situation where you cannot refinance that property, and you are stuck in that hard money loan. Your rents ain't gonna cover that. So now you got your own rent, your own car notes, your own personal bills, and you got a tenant in there now living in a property that you are owing a massive amount of money on a loan that's probably going to terminate, that you're going to have to hope to God to be able to re-up, because they don't really typically last longer than 12 months on a hard money loan, which is supposed to be flipping the property. A lot of this finessing, you need to have the complete information. I flipped properties before. I made some money and I've lost a lot of money. It's easy to lose money if you can't get rid of the property or you can't refinance the property. But we don't talk about that part here, do we? We don't talk about that.
$100, like that don't really.
Right.
It's like a waste of time.
You up? Are you up?
Nah, we just.
How many properties you got?
we got 18 properties. Some of them single families, some of them duplex and triplex. So total, we got about 39 units. And then I got a bunch of lots too. Yeah, 39 doors.
You buy lots too?
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. We about to start building on three lots next month.
You all the way up.
No,
how much money you use on these deals? On your out of cash, out of pocket?
So the thing is with that is too, I use other people's money as far as so I use lenders for 80% of my deals, and then they require a 20% down payment. So I might need $20,000, $30,000, $15,000 on some of them, which I'll just use a credit card. But I'm not gonna lie, my one of my business partners tell me I just be moving too fast sometimes. So some of the deals, some of the bigger deals I do, I might need 70, 80 grand down payment, things like that. And let's say, for example, all my deals is off market, so I don't use real estate agents. So with that being said, some of the sellers, we need it might be issues or something. We got to do it fast. Lenders, my lender, we can close same week. So I get to do a Monday, title might be back already. Whatever the reason is, we can move fast. Let's say we need 70,000, 80,000. Let's just drop it. Just drop it. Let's keep it pushing. My partner.
So what my man conveniently skipped over, as I've done this before, I've had off-market deals where they're gonna go fast if it hits the market. So what you'll do is you'll take a deal with what they call no contingencies. I've done this before on properties that had foundational issues, had piping issues, had massive electric issues, had water damage that I didn't see because it was covered up. What happens when you get into a property like that and you've budgeted $40,000 for a renovation, when it turns out that now you got to rip up the foundation? It's going to cost you $120,000. What you do then? See, everything here is the pipe dream. They would never put me on a podcast like this because I'm not going to be able to earn the type of commissions for them to the product to get to the products that I'm selling. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. The real of the situation, it's not this Simple. Y'all gotta.
He's like, nah, like you tripping. Like if you can't delay it, it ain't worth it. But I'm looking at the bigger picture. Like this is an amazing deal. Like just give him the 80 grand. Let's keep pushing. So a lot of my stuff I use lenders, and then the other little 20% piece I use credit cards. But some of them I'll just like, yo, let's just grab it. Like we'll figure the rest out later.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not like that no more. But that was like last year.
If you guys have any questions,
residential is way better than commercial, bro.
I don't know about that.
No, he got some. I got 3 commercial builders too that I'm starting to like. So he kind of helped me convert. Yeah.
Well, 3 like that.
They commercial.
Now, what I want you guys to do here is I want you guys to remember that these gentlemen said that they were having trouble keeping the class situation together, right? They were having just between the 3 of them, they needed a mentor to come in and take over the back end operations so that their core situation could be run properly. But this one man has, with the same business acumen, has the ability to manage, he said 39 properties plus a boatload of lots and 3 commercial units. What are the odds that he can manage all of that real estate, the building, the tenants, the all of the things that go along with holding those units, selling those units? What are the odds that same dude can't manage a course with 2 other primary people?
It's an evil world we live in.
Makes you so storefronts on the first floor and apartments upstairs. But I like the commercial.
You got someone?
Yeah, I got 3 of them.
3?
Yeah. Nah.
He might be up.
Okay.
He might be up, man.
Tell me you up without saying you up. Just let Ramel, commercial real estate, man. Because it really actually as I get deeper into commercial real estate, it seems less headache, but less lucrative than getting a whole bunch of residential. No.
No. See, like my brother, he always say, become more effective in less time, right? Yeah. So, what it takes somebody to do 30 years, I want to do it in 10.
Beautiful words.
And back like to the question that you talking about long term wealth. My dad instilled that in me when I was young because he worked 30 years and then he retired. He had to go pick up another job. So that was my motivation growing up. Like, damn, I seen you work 50, 60 hours, retired. Now you got to get a part-time job. So I'm thinking when I turn that age, everything I'm doing now need to be taking care of me. So I'm investing with the mindset of, all right, what I'm doing now, what is going to look like 10, 15, 20 years from now, right? So with that being said, buying commercial real estate, one acquisition, like I don't need to buy 10, 15, 20 houses. Why? I'm spinning my wheels, right? I want to spend time with my family. So all I need is one move, and I can maximize that one move and get back the value that it would have probably took me to get 5, 10 single families. Now, I started out that way. I'm not going to bash it because it was a lower entry, a lower barrier to entry. But now with more experience, more capital, and more understanding, commercial for me, because this is commercial building, right? So you got multiple streams coming out of here. You renting out, different space. Set you up without saying you up, right?
That's a bar.
But the revenue that you bringing out of this building, that increases the value of your facility. Of your building, right? Because you're bringing in more income. So I'd rather focus on one building. How can I make the most money out of this one building and get the money that way versus let me go buy another house.
Is it easier to get residential houses, or it's the same process?
It's easier because it's more homes out there. There's more people that's in distressed situations. A little tougher to find great commercial deals. Right. But again, for me, I'd rather spend a little bit more time on the commercial, even though it take a little longer, because when I do hit a home run, it's gonna make up for in that time I went and got 3, 4 singles.
Gotcha. How's the storage units doing?
Amazing, especially in this climate right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? What do you mean?
Because
people get evicted.
Yeah, people getting all the foreclosures are happening
so
now.
Leaving boom, and got to put their
No, I'm kicking them out. I just evicted somebody. I just evicted
you
somebody.
got to put their stuff in Ramel's unit, and then they live with their auntie.
Exactly. That's what's
That's
happening.
the process.
That's
I see what's
happening.
going on in this economy.
Yeah.
He said it's amazing.
I want to add something what he said though, because he said it, but without going too in detail. When you're doing commercial like 5 units or over, now you can go into more of an income approach. With me, a duplex, a triplex, stuff like that, it gotta go off of comps. Like, what did this duplex sell for to make mine's worth this? He can go into a 10-unit building, and then now he can just raise the rents $50, so now the value of the building go up some more.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes. So
I wanted to
value-
break that down. So
You're
you
right.
can-
You're cool.
My
Yeah.
brother, bro. I
appreciate you.
So the value of the value of residential real estate, if I'm hearing you, is
quote unquote capped, depending on what the
depending
area.
on what your neighbor sold for.
Yeah, half a mile radius, quarter mile radius, what it's going. Sometimes they'll stretch out a little further for like maybe like a 4-unit. They just can't find no 4-unit building in that couple blocks. They sometimes stretch it, but it's pretty much capped. He can raise the rents and then everything raises.
And if you think like right now, so with single families, the market is lower because interest rates are higher, so people are not paying that same price. Because I buy a house for $200,000.
Yeah, because
But hold on that money, bring it back to my brother, and now you can go in and stack that money to go into the bigger place. So this is the market to go make the in-between moves, stack that cash up 2024, go right, when I say 2024, later on this year, then dump it right back into the bigger stuff.
Got you. So
ping pong.
if I don't have the money or even the 20%, is that where you come in with the funding?
Yeah, you need 15 grand. Boom.
Because you're gonna need some. Most people are in a position where they don't have access to the capital for the most part. That's from what I know.
63% of people don't start.
So are y'all saying that I can not have any, maybe not, well, any money? Say for instance, there's $100,000 building, and the bank is requiring me to put down 20%, which is $20,000. It's going to be a great investment. If I need $20,000, which is the 20% of the purchase price, I can come to you and get $20,000.
Yes. You can come to me to get $20,000. I would rather you. Well, would you? I ask you. Would you rather spend somebody else's money instead of your money? If I said, David, all right, I got $20,000. Just give me back $200 a month, and I'll let you borrow $20,000. Would you say yes to that?
Kind of depends, bro.
And I said I'll give it to you for 0% interest for 12 months.
But why would you do that?
Because that's what the bank does. So take advantage of it.
He thinking that you're gonna mess up and not make that money back in a year, and then your interest rate go to 20%, 30% on a credit card.
So is the strategy
They betting against you.
See now, who is going to qualify for a 0% interest rate credit card? Somebody with amazing credit, right? Somebody with amazing credit is not going to need to go to a gentleman who's going to now charge them 20% of the money that he helps them get in order so they can pay back that money. See, what he's not telling is what happens to all of the money from beginning to end. So yeah, I can come to you and get 20 grand, but you got to qualify for 25. So I'm going to take 5,000 off the top. You owe me that 5,000. So you came to me for 20. You left with 25. I left with 5. You operating on 20. Now you take that 20 and you qualify for your hard money loan. We're not talking about buying real estate to live in, y'all. Y'all got to understand there's a difference between investment property and residential property. They look the same, but when the bank knows your purpose is different, it costs different. It's far more expensive to invest in real estate for flipping or even for holding as a landlord than it is to just buy a property and live in it. It ain't the same game. So he's now going to have to go to the hard money lender, give them the 20 grand so he qualifies for their 100. They'll give him the 100,000 back. Now, not only did he pay that man $5,000, but he's going to pay anywhere between 9 and 13% on that hard money loan until he finishes flipping it, in which case he better be able to qualify for a refinance or he better be able to get rid of that property. They're not finishing it.
So the strategy for the bank is betting against you in terms of they're saying, I give you 0% interest for 12 months,
that they lend money to
but I'm betting that in 12 months you'll still owe me money.
when they give you a credit card.
for the most part. And some people get in that predicament, but you gotta be smart and make quicker plays. But you
Yeah, all of us.
also too are gonna make money while you're spending money too. I like that concept too. Instead of spending cash, when we spend money off our credit cards, what do we get? Cash back or rewards
Bruh,
points.
cash back
Everybody
is
like to
2%
travel.
if you want
Everybody
a
like
good card.
to make money when we spending money. I would rather us make money while we spending money instead of making nothing off every dollar we spend.
That makes sense.
No, it don't.
So let's say I pay my bills, credit's good. Give me like the three most important things that you need to guarantee. Well, you can't guarantee. I'm not going to say guarantee on this podcast, but you can pretty much ensure there's a good possibility that you'll be able to get them 20, 30 grand to invest. And
They'll get you the money.
is this on a credit card
Yep.
that you got to like liquidate
Yep.
and then go buy this property?
So for the most part, it's just really two things. It's properly structured LLC, because a lot of people structure their businesses improperly. And it's the requirements on the personal side. So once you meet the 680 to a 700 credit score, no negatives, a built mixture of credit report, because a lot of people do that wrong as well. It's literally those two components. And then we
A built mixture of credit on your credit report. Let me explain. A good mixture of credit is one long-term loan, which is a loan that's typically over 60 months. A short-term loan, which is a loan that's anywhere between 12 and, I don't know, let's call it 36 months, right? Everything in between that time frame is kind of like a little iffy, but that's just for general purposes. And then you need a few revolving credit lines, right? So you need revolving credit, you need installment credit, short-term and long-term, in order to be able to come to this man for him to charge you 20% on money that you could have just, with your 680, 700 credit score, gone to the same lenders and got for free. I like this game plan.
goods. I mean, you said for credit cards or loans, I typically don't even go for loans. I literally go direct.
You can't qualify for them. That's why loans actually require documentation. See, when I first opened up my LLC, Boss Empire, which was for my t-shirt business back in 2017, I got that. And then 2 months later, I went to American Express, and because of my personal credit and my personal income, was able to qualify off the rip for two $25,000 business cards from American Express, which were not charge cards. These were actually cards with credit limits. 0% interest rate for 12 months on both of those cards. That was with my phenomenal credit and good income at the time. This was before the pandemic. This is while we're not really in a recession. This is while inflation is not all crazy. These dudes are still pitching information from 2015, 2016, 2017. Because this is what's been pitched to them at Recession Proof Extreme. It sounds amazing, but a business should be going after business loans, which cost a lot less and offer you a fixed payment and a fixed set amount of payments. A business loan can't really get out of control as long as you can have a business that can meet that minimum requirement. But when you start stacking credit cards and your credit ain't A-OK, I promise you the dudes that he's getting this funding for are not qualifying for those 0% interest rate credit cards. They're qualifying for credit cards for 17 to 24, maybe even 29% interest. And they're still pitching the fact that you're going to be making money while you're doing this. Bro, you better be sprinting your ass off. Because when that first bill comes in at 17 to 29% interest and your business hasn't gotten off the ground yet, where are you going to get the money to make that first credit card payment? That's always going to be my question. Should I have been running a podcast that they're on? That would have been my question. Walk them down the path of what happens when. Because my scenario is the common scenario. His scenario is the exception to the rule.
Directly to credit cards because it's easier to get approved. If you want to get a $200,000 loan, you want documentation, you want tax return, you want bank statements or check stubs, something like that.
Yeah, proof that
I can go in the bank and get $200,000 over small increments with no documentation, no paycheck stubs, no tax return. And most people are not in position where their business has been open 2 years. So if your business has been open 2 years, you don't have no tax return, you don't have no bank statements and all that stuff. Now you have an entry level where you can get the money at a quicker fashion.
I want to pull this up real quick. And actually, my home the person he was talking about was actually here, and it was really, really funny. Let me find this real quick. Okay, so and I want to hear your response to this. So Kevin on stage made a video, and this is what he said. Let you listen to it. It says.
Saw something on the internet. This lady said you can start your LLC, get your free EIN number, and walk into the bank and get $30,000 without any documentation. Yes, you can. If you have a gun and you rob the bank. I don't think you'll get $30,000, but you'll probably get $3,000 and go to jail. Anything other than that, it's not possible. I'm sorry, guys. We have to work. We have to work. We have to work. We gotta work. People gotta work. We gotta work. That's the way it is. People gotta work. You gotta work. They're not giving you $30,000.
Wear them out, Kev.
You're gonna be at work.
Wear them out, Kev.
And the only way that you can start a business and go get $30,000 is walking into a bank with a gun.
Gun is key.
What say you?
He said. It sounded like he said with your EIN only.
Well, so this I'm gonna tell you what Lex said. This is what Lex said. I'm gonna show it to you one more time.
Yeah.
Also on the internet, this lady said you can start your LLC, get your free EIN number, and walk into the bank and get $30,000 without any documentation.
Yeah. He's only mentioning you getting the LLC and the EIN number, which 100% he's right that you can't go get 30,000. I'm saying to leverage the personal with the LLC. Now it's a whole different ball game. I can start my.
I think that's what she was saying too.
Yeah. I can start my LLC 2 days ago and be able to still get access to $50K, $100,000 by leveraging my personal side. So it's personal guarantor. You go in the bank, they ask you to personal guarantor it, meaning we can pull your personal credit to see how good it is, but we're going to approve you for this amount on your business side to be able to get you the money. So then it also only reports on the business side. So we don't have to worry about if it's going to report on our personal side, which we like that. That's why we love the word business credit so much, because we can leverage the business to do it. It's going to report on our business side. And we don't have to so much worry about utilization now. So on the personal side, when we start, maxing out our credit cards, credit score go down, we can't get access to no more money. We leverage the business side when we get approved for the business credit cards to invest that money so that now we can continue to either get access to more capital and continue to keep investing.
So Kevin's wrong in his assumption
to what he said.
Y'all know Lex? Y'all know Lex?
Lex, I know Lex.
Because I think she's saying the same thing. I mean, obviously, she's like, "Yo, you can start a." Obviously, there's like more stuff to it. Like you actually, you got to find a bank, maybe one of them to not.
What do you got? Hold on. Guys, is no doc product. We go after no doc money, so no documentation. Okay. We'll call a credit union in our zip code, so we can search our zip code, call a credit union, and say, "Hey, what do you guys is no doc products that you have?" So like, what's the limits of up to what you always would approve us for with no documentation? Mm-hmm. Oh, if you ask for more than 50,000, we're gonna ask for documentation. Okay, great. All right. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna come in the bank and I'm gonna say, well, let me just get like 45,000. Let me try to get approved for 45,000. Mm-hmm. If that thing say approved, I don't have to show no documentation. It's stated income. Mm-hmm. So it's based off what I project what I make, or I'm gonna make, or what I make, whatever the case may be. Now I don't have to show no tax return, paycheck stubs, bank statements. I get this approval, I'm out of there. 30, 40, 50,000. No documentation. That's just one bank. And then we go to 10 more. When we PG in these things and they're pulling our personal credit, they're going to give us an inquiry. So most people worries are, man, we're going to get too many inquiries. They're going to stop approving us. So imagine this. We go to the bank. We get a Chase business credit card. That's one inquiry. We go to 5 more. We get 5 inquiries. Okay, well, now we got 80K, 100,000. All these inquiries on the personal side is not attached to anything. We remove all the inquiries. What are we going to do now? We're going to take the inquiries off, then we're going to do it again. Round 2.
Man, I'm just thinking about, I'm multiplying in my head, like, how many times I'm going to go do this?
No, for real. No, seriously, though, for real. So that's how we run it, though. And then that's how we run the bag up. So that's how I think I got over 750,000 in credit now, man. We go after no doc money, so no documentation.
This is the same dude that's sitting on this podcast right now. the same dude. Now, you do realize he understands David is like smarter than your average podcast host. He's actually asking some probing questions. Should this man start to get sensational like he did on the Finessers Only podcast, David has no choice but to bust that ass wide open on public platform. So he real low key now. He real low key on his public podcast. This is not the one for me. I'll save this for the other ones. But as you can see, this man just told you that all you gotta do is call up every credit union in your local area and run up the bag, because the people at the credit union don't have anybody smarter than him running their actuarial processes, which is the process telling them what risk versus what reward the bank needs to be at to make money make sense, make lending money make sense. I'm going to tell y'all right now, you guys try to run this play, you're going to be sorely, sorely disappointed at the amount of funding you do not get. This is the same man. See, y'all say y'all don't want this type of information, and that's cool. But I'm going to keep giving it, because it's important for me to show y'all who those dudes really are when they're forced to explain the whole thing. Lay it all out.
But you got to find a bank. You got to actually you have to have something. You have to have good credit. You feel me? They're not giving a bum off the street.
Yeah.
Got to have a track record.
30,000, right? So,
Right.
But there are scenarios where someone is literally a decision away from getting access to $30,000.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's how I changed my life. That's how I started. Whatever, all the things I started, I didn't really have no money. I had to use this route to be able to get access to all the money I needed to start my businesses. If I didn't have credit, I don't believe I be successful as I am or make it to where I am. If I don't use credit, I don't think I can raise the capital to do so. Because how long would it take someone to save $50,000 in a regular lifetime without credit? Some people never even come up to
making $20 an hour. You working 8 hours a day,
you got rent.
40 hours a week. And you still got rent, you got mortgage, you got car note, you got insurance, you got all that stuff.
Kids.
You making $40,000 a year. How the hell you gonna save $50,000 a year?
It's almost impossible.
That don't even matter.
It's
you know
impossible.
What I'm saying? So that
It's
type of
almost,
stuff pisses me off. Just save and buy it the regular way.
No.
How, Sway? How you gonna do that? You feel me? Like, how that stuff, like, people be in the comments saying that stuff pisses me off. Like, how? So basically saying, chalk your wealth, push your wealth all the way back, because you're telling me that you feel some type of way that I want to do it a smarter way, easier way, a more creative way, but that doesn't sit right with you. So you're telling me to stop and push it back. The math don't math. You make $40,000 a year before taxes, and then you got all your responsibilities, and then I need $50,000 to go and buy this house.
You say you make $40,000 a year.
How?
And you got bills. You got to eat. Sometimes, you know what I mean?
You got kids, like how? You know what I mean?
So I want to break something down for you, Dave, for everybody that's listening, right? Because I'm on Instagram and I get a lot of pushback because I teach you how to buy commercial real estate with no money down strategies, right?
No money down?
Yeah. And they be like, that's not true. No money down. You know,
it's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true.
So obviously you have to put money down, but it doesn't have to be money from you. So I want to break down exact situation that I did so that everybody could kind of get the picture and literally utilize all of our strategies.
All this free money floating around, y'all. All you got to do is go get it. Just run the play. Just run the play. All you got to do is go get it. Street credit. Nah, we want business credit. Tell you one thing. Y'all play with them business credit banks if you want to. You're going to find out what a gangster really is. You're going to find out what a gangster really is. Because most gangsters won't show up at your mama house. These banks will show up at your mama house. Most gangsters got some rules about how they operate. These lending institutions, all bets are off if you don't pay them their money.
All right, so a couple years ago, I was the 2020, right? I went and purchased the property. Well, I got a property under contract, single family. So it's a single family property, like boom. Last time I was on the podcast, I talked about the family legacy meeting, right? All that cool stuff. So had my family legacy meeting, try to see who else around me has good credit. So my cousin, who's a correction officer, he worked 40, 60 hours a week, know nothing about credit, real estate, or anything, but he has an 800 credit score. Didn't know it, right?
He didn't even know it.
He didn't know it. He just pays his bills on time.
Stories
He's a
are
responsible
phenomenal.
person.
That's lit.
But now that I expose him to the opportunity of investing and how he can make money passively, he's interested. So I put him on my LLC on an operating agreement as a member and got him $45,000 in 24 hours.
Whoa, hold on. You have an LLC that's been in business obviously over 2 years.
Correct.
So you can take someone and put them on your operating agreement.
Yep.
Is it still considered a business loan or a personal loan?
It's a business credit card. So I got him a Chase business credit card, $45,000.
So he got a Chase business credit card, $45,000, simply by you putting him on your LLC, because now it looks like it's been his business for however long.
Correct.
And now he's got a business credit card.
And he started with nothing, just an 800 credit score, and putting him on the business. He has no prior knowledge of anything.
What he's not telling you is that once this loan, or not loan, once the credit that was procured on that Chase business card under his cousin's name, under his LLC, if that card is defaulted on, his personal credit is screwed. See, with a business loan, the rules are a little bit different than business credit cards. Number one, business credit cards don't report to your business credit. Shocker. Bet y'all didn't know that. Number two, business credit cards can come after you personally on your personal credit should you default. Say, can I turn up my mic? Let me see, is that better? My mic is, let me turn it up some. Is that better? Sorry, y'all, my voice got a little scratchy. But he's not telling you that business credit cards can report to your personal credit, ruining your personal credit should you not pay that money back, should you default on that. And business credit cards you're qualifying for personally. All of his information, personal information, goes to Chase now. So he's put this man in the line of fire, and I bet you this dude don't even understand none of that.
So I'm sharing that because this could
Sorry
be
about
somebody
that.
who, as long as you obviously have the information, but it doesn't stop there, right? So $45,000, I found a property, we got it under contract, we leveraged hard money, only had to come to the table with about $12,000, right?
Explain the leverage hard money.
So hard money, you find a property, they're going to give you 70% loan to value, right? So as long as you get the property under contract at the right price, they'll give you as much money as possible, and you just got to cover closing costs. So I had to come to the table with about $8,000. So hard money is a these lenders that give out money to buy real estate, right? So I go to my cousin. Now I could have put the $8,000 out of my own pocket, but I went to my cousin to say have him invest because I wanted him to be a believer. Now that I got him $45,000, but I'm sharing this because at this point I still haven't used any of my own money, right? I put him on my business, $45,000 Chase credit card, got the property under contract, $8,000 is the down payment. So we pulled the money off the credit card, the $45,000, and put it down into down payment to contract the property.
$8,000 out of the 45.
Correct. And then we took off an extra $30,000 to float the construction because I have to pay the contractors to.
I see. So you max out the card.
You max out the card.
Okay.
But with the Chase card, they give you cash back and rewards. So when you spend over $15,000 in 3 months, they give you $750 back cash back.
Okay.
So because we maxed out the cards, $750 cash back, that covered the minimum payment for a couple months. So now you got no minimum payment because he leveraged the cash back. We bought a property, fixed it up, sold the property, made $120,000 profit. Profit, right? So now the $120,000 profit, pay off the credit card, that $45,000 back, and gave him 20% return on his money back to his pocket. So he used none of his own money and got paid passively. And I just did a deal, no money out of my pocket.
So there is a saying in the sports world. I used to do sports radio and sports television for NBC and ESPN. There's a saying about statistics that if you torture numbers, they'll tell you whatever you want to know. They'll tell you whatever you want. See, what this man is presenting to you are numbers that are fantasy, that come out of nowhere. There's no proof. Nobody's asking him for proof. But if you look up the statistics on how many real estate deals, or the percentage of real estate deals that go bad, that erase people's whole lineage of savings, you will see that this beautiful scenario is definitely the exception and not the rule. It's definitely the exception and not the rule. And this stuff could have worked out in 2021, 2022, because real estate was just can't lose. But if you've been in real estate longer than 10 years, you do understand fully that the formula that this man is pitching is probably about a 5% scenario, maybe 10% at max. And I don't know about you, but if somebody spun a revolver, had it to my head and told me, hey, if you pull the trigger, I'll give you $1 million. But there's a 10% chance that that bullet is coming out and you won't need that million. I'm not pulling that trigger. 10% of failure is just too high when you don't know and can't account for all of the things that can go wrong. He's banking on, just like with his ignorant cousin, you all, the consumers of this podcast, will just enter into the agreement without all of the particulars. Because you don't know what you don't know.
Right?
That's hard.
Now, don't stop there,
That's
right? Because then we thinking long term. So I did this back in 2020, right? So now probably had about $70,000, $80,000 that I was able to now take, and I put it into a life insurance policy because you got to pay tax on capital gains. I didn't want to do that at the time. So I put it into a life insurance policy that grows compound interest, right? So that $80,000 that I put in the life insurance policy, it grew to about $116,000, where I got 3 storage facilities right now in the contract, and my down payment on that is $95,000.
Boom.
I borrowed the money off my life insurance, and that's my down payment on the 3 facilities. So now, none of my own money, but I started with a credit card, getting my cousin on board with my LLC, going and getting a single family, flipping it, turning it into 3 storage facilities that's generating $20,000 a month.
So 24 hours
Goodness
to
gracious.
short term to long term.
Hold on, y'all. I want to do some math here because I was a life insurance agent for 15 years. So I want to see what type of interest rate, me knowing what the interest rates looks like on a life insurance contract that he's discussing that grows with compound interest. Let's see how much a life insurance policy of $80,000 would earn over a 5-year period. Let's just check it out. So 80,000 times 0.007% is $560. So a life insurance policy that grew guaranteed at 7%, which is a really good life insurance policy rate, annually would make about $560. Okay? So let's take that. How many times do we have to earn that $560 to get to $116,000, which is a $36,000 difference? Let me see how many months this would have to earn that. Let's see, times. Let me see, 36,000 divided by 560. So it would have to earn for 64 months consecutively, roughly, give or take. So let's just call it in between 55 and 64 months that life insurance policy would have to earn for in order for him to go from 80,000 on that life insurance policy to 116, unless he put more money, which is called overfunding the life insurance policy, which in that particular time frame can turn it into what's called a modified endowment contract, in which case you are then taxed by the government as an investment, not as a life insurance policy. He didn't say any of that shit. Now, my man, JT, the pocket watcher, he can go over those numbers, and I'm sure I'm off by a little bit, but by doing the math without an life insurance illustration in front of me, that's roughly the time frame you'd be talking about. You'd be talking about 5 years of letting that life insurance policy sit there and collect premiums. Or he overfunded it to a point, at that point, you are going to turn that from a life insurance contract to a modified endowment investment contract. So did he pay taxes on that? Probably not. But see, he's not banking on people like me watching this podcast. He's banking on anybody else watching this podcast and going, so I can buy the real estate, I can flip the credit card, I can go ahead and get me a life insurance policy, and I can be my own bank, and my whole family's rich for the rest of my life. Where do I sign up? How much do I have to pay? This is the process that y'all go through.
Plus, the money that I borrowed from the life insurance policy, my down payment is still growing because it's in the policy to get compound interest. So I'm still making money on that money. And that's another strategy as far as like refi, what I plan to do later on with the facility to put the money back.
Man.
Then he missed a piece too. What I was saying it, he said float the construction. So when you hard money, they give you the money to fix up the house. You just have to start and they pay you back.
That's true.
So the $30,000 he spent that month, he didn't have to wait till the house sold to get that money back. They wired him that money that same week.
Yeah.
So the credit card got paid off way before the house even sold. So for people that's worried about, my credit card is for a couple months, credit card got paid off.
Yo, all that stuff set,
So if the credit
and
card
it's
gets
so real and it's so practical when you put it like that. You know what I mean? Like anybody can do it. You know what it really sounds like? It sounds like, you know, the one guy, he was like, all right, if you want to be an entrepreneur, first you get an LLC. And then you buy a Komodo dragon, right?
You take a
But he was
Komodo
saying like that.
dragon.
It sounds like that. But it's really, like if you really break down what you said, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
If we can start out with good credit.
Yeah.
So moral of the story
And
is you can make
if you have
millions if you pay your
perfect
bills on time.
scenarios all the way through the process.
Damn,
One-
yeah,
we'll
you
find
better like
a lot of
that.
ways to skin a cat.
Fine.
That's one way. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. And we just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? While I was working at the Cheesecake Factory, I didn't know. Like I can pay my bills, and if I paid my bills, people would give me money.
Yeah.
And if I understood what to do with the money, I could start building generational wealth.
Get that French
I have
toast
no
out of here.
Or it's another route. You can be able to get money off generating revenue in your business too. So a lot of people that make a lot of money, they don't care about credit. It's another route you get lending from.
What do you mean?
Generating revenue. So if your business, David Chance, I don't know how much money you make, but if you bringing,
Nothing crazy.
if you bringing in $200,000 a month,
rich,
something like
bro.
that,
Say you
nah,
rich.
depending on how much you bringing in a month, banks will lend you money based off how money you make
Absolutely.
monthly consistently. So there's lenders out here that will give you money based off if you've been making a certain amount of money per month. I'll say $20,000 a month, $10,000 a month for a 6-month period of time consistently. Then they will lend you out money as well. So there's other lending options. You can use other things as collateral. I used my own money as collateral one time to build it up so I can get access to more money before I even had.
Don't this dude sound a lot different than the dude I just showed y'all in that clip? Am I tripping? If this dude sounds a lot different than the dude I showed y'all in that IG clip on my phone from his page, put a 2 in the chat if this don't even sound like the same dude. In that IG clip, did he mention anything about collateral? In that IG video, did he mention anything about receipts of your business if your business is making money? In that IG clip, did he mention anything about having good credit? Nope. This dude mentioned how to run the play and get $750,000 from business credit card funding. You're going to go to his IG page. You're going to click the link in his bio. You're going to pay the, what was it? $497 for the course, from which he has no contract with his partners to even know if he's going to get a cut of his own advertisement. This is wild to me. This is wild to me because when forced to explain how it works, then some of the legitimate information comes out. But when you can put that IG camera on with your cool shades and your suit and shit on, you get to talking that dumb stuff. Dumb stuff. When I saw, let's see what Keith had to say. When I saw Waka Flocka and T.I. trying to teach the gun and a mask version of life insurance, I tried to find one of the bridges in the metropolitan area to jump off of. Shake my head. Scam 500. Keith, while the life insurance can build, it can grow, and it can grow exponentially. It is compound interest. So whatever you made on it, interest month 1, it goes into month 2, and month 2 it makes it again, and it makes it again, and it makes it again. There's a lot more nuance that goes into purchasing a life insurance and funding it properly to allow it to do just that. So yes, it can be great. It can be amazing. But it don't work like this. They take a little bit of truth, they wrap that hoe up in a lie, and they feed it to you, hook, line, and sinker, and y'all buy that shit every time.
good credit too. That's another route too. So there's different routes. You just gotta be creative. You just gotta be educating yourself on different routes of what you could use.
Right. There's two sides to every coin, and as a journalist, it's my responsibility to ask the question of the other side, because all this could go terribly wrong. Yes.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
It could.
It has.
It has.
I want to share that too, because that's a great point.
You're asking too many questions.
Yes, I can tell you this worked and I did it X, Y, Z. But before that happened, I was in a bad deal, right? Because I paid contractors to do a job, didn't do my due diligence, right? I bought a property on an auction, and when you buy them on the auctions online, it's a blind sale. So you're just buying them. It's cheap, but you don't know what you get. Right, so I was over leveraged, and again, to be transparent, the reason why I had to go and do the family legacy meeting and leverage my cousin, because I was over leveraged at the time. Because I invested wrong, I maxed out my credit cards. I'm like, damn, I'm strapped. But in that process, I learned what I did wrong.
Y'all don't ever hear this part of the podcast. Y'all don't ever hear this part of the podcast. Just the hot takes that sound good. Click the link in my bio.
So now I said, because I have the information, who could I pull around me that's going to help me get back in the game? And that's how I got back on track.
This dude knew he was absolutely cooked and pulled his cousin in with him. His mama's sister's son, or his mama's brother's son, or whatever. He pulled his cousin in with him. These are the likes of the people you're dealing with. Hey, I got the opportunity of a lifetime for you, cuz. Come check this out with me. I guarantee you cuzzo ain't know none of this. I guarantee you cuzzo ain't know he was fully maxed. I guarantee you cuzzo ain't know that he was over leveraged. I guarantee you cuzzo ain't know that he was at the end of the rope. And I got to give you the double whistle for my boy Anton. Whoa.
And now, go from there.
That's hard.
And you know I always gotta add something.
Please.
I always gotta add something.
You got the Jeezy ad-libs.
Yeah, I gotta add something. So
add so much to the song.
Yeah. I think also, well, two things. One, you have to find someone, whether it's a mentor, friend or mentor, have to find someone that's already doing the stuff so you can learn. It doesn't make sense to trip if someone already walked 10 miles before you. Just follow their steps. Yeah. They already said a pothole there, you go to the right a little bit. But also, I think you can't lose, but it can be delayed. So, for example, if you buy right, so like I was telling you, all properties we buy them off market, we get them as cheap as humanly possible. So when you buy right and buy cheap, you're never going to lose. Even if you like borrow a little too much money or, spend a little extra than you thought. If you bought, let's say, for example, you plan to spend $50,000 on this property fix up. End up costing you $70,000. But if you bought the house for $50 and it's worth, let's just say, $250 when it's all said and done, even though you spent a little bit more money than you thought, it's still a whole lot of room left over. So where do
you get the money to maintain the property while you can't sell it? You didn't have no money in the first place. You leveraged the property to get the loan that was expensive in the first place. Now you can't get out of the property. So you can't pay off the loan that you didn't have the money for in the first place. So while, once again, this in theory is absolutely true, you hang on to a piece of real estate long enough, it's going to appreciate to a point where, you could get some money back. But how much money would you spend in the meantime just to stay in the deal? Where does that money come from? When you're over leveraged on the credit card because you couldn't pay that back. You can't get rid of the house, so you can't pay off the hard money loan that you used the credit card in order to be able to get into. Where is the money coming from to maintain the property so that this fallacy can become a reality? if I'm missing something, somebody tell me in the chat. Y'all not telling me that I'm wrong on none of this stuff. I'm usually off a little bit on something.
Do in our business, we make sure that we get it cheap as humanly possible. That way, if we call it oh shit money, we can build in oh shit money within the deal. So if I'm factoring in a 15% contingency, 20% if something goes wrong, we already factored it in. Yeah. So that way, if the deal goes over leverage, like we're still going to make money. The problem is
factor that in. The bank factored in the reality.
He says 70% loan to value. So what that means, if you have a property that's
if anybody's ever built a home before, like I have, you do know that no matter what you factor in, you're not prepared for the surprises that show up because an inspector turns you down, and now you're 2 weeks behind schedule. That's going to happen at least twice during a build. Oh, the contractor didn't quite factor in some of the costs. Now there's extra money there. Oh, the lumber yard didn't do the takeoffs properly. So the lumber was way more expensive. The electrician that you brought in comes in and sees the actual job. And now what he really lays his eyes on is going to cost you more money. The plumber ran into a problem in the street and couldn't connect the plumbing to the street properly. So that's going to cost you more money. All of these things are hopes and dreams. Oh shit, money. It sounds great. That ain't factored in. That's not extra. That's not special. That's in the business plan. It's contingency money. What happens when you can't get rid of the property and the contingency money that you build into the business plan for the property is already gone?
When everything is said and done with $100,000, the lender will give you up to 70 grand. That means you got to buy it and fix it up within the 70. You buy it for 20, put 50 into it. Buy it for 50, put 20 into it. However you chop it down, that's your max. We buy deals 65% of the LZ. So we already under what you give. So that way, if the deal goes south a little bit, 1%, now you 1% over. We go over 1%. We go over 3%. We still under the math. Yeah. So like, I think it just comes down to making sure like, don't be all fast, just buy right. But the only way you really gonna know that is you tap in with somebody that's telling you the information and just not be so excited. I think people get so excited and just like, I just want to buy something. I just want to buy something. Older guy told me this not a long time ago, like 2 years ago. He said, wrong with y'all generation now, y'all want to buy a house just because it look cool.
It does look cool though.
Yeah, like the hell yeah, looks cool. But you know, but then you in jams where like, dang. So more to bring the whole thing full circle, your bag may be delayed another month or two, but you're not going to lose because you bought it right the first time. Now, some people buy messed up, and then they at the closing table getting a check for $1,000, or I've seen people where it got so bad where they was negative at the closing table selling it. Yeah, because they bought super wrong. Like, yo, Shan said he got a deal for me in Atlanta. Like, it's Shan's, I gotta buy it. Like, they attach your brand to the deal. That's two separate things. Mm-hmm. So that's stuff that
I like that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I guess tell me about what you guys are doing together in terms of 4 our people. One, I think this is very valuable, and you guys have 3 different perspectives and 3 different expertise to help someone paint a picture on how they can make some money. So tell me what it is y'all doing and how they can be involved.
So it's a 5-day challenge. So within the 5-day challenge, the first few days, we're going to show you pretty much how to build up your credit profile the correct way and then get funded up to $50,000. Some people may even go up to $100,000, but we're like not guaranteeing, but we're giving you the exact steps, the exact blueprint, the exact detail to go ahead and get $50,000 that week. And then we're going to show you exactly step by step how to find these deals cheap, so you can start putting offers in on properties that week. Show you how to find, commercial buildings cheap, so you can put offers on that stuff that same week. So it's amazing because it's not just showing you how to get funded, or I'm just showing you how to find deals. Because if I show you how to find deals, then you're like, where the money coming from? Yeah. If I just show you how to get money, then you like, well, what do I do with it? Because my 12 months interest free is starting. My clock is ticking. So we combining all of this stuff together in one powerful week to where now, like our last challenge we funded like $1.6 million that same week, and people was getting properties under contract.
What you mean?
They funded 1.6 million that week. Now, I've dealt with enough business funders to know that if your credit card stacking, $1.5 million. There we go. Times 20%. Because that's typically what they're going to charge you. 20%. That means they made $300,000 from the idiots who allowed them to do this to them. And so those idiots, if they didn't end up getting into a property or something like that, they still got the money. But because they then had to pull the money off the credit card in order to pay for the funding that they got from these dudes, you in debt no matter what. They got $300,000 plus whatever y'all paid for the course, which I think from the website looks like $500, $497. So let's just say that they had 150 people buy the course. 150 times 497 is 70, almost 75 grand, right? 75 plus the 300,000 that they made allegedly from the funding. They done made $375,000 to split 3 ways. And they didn't have to go look for a property. They didn't have to put up their information to get funding. They did not have to hire a contractor. They did not have to hope for a sale from a flip. They did not have to find tenants to put into those units. They just had to run the course. These dudes are geniuses. They're geniuses. Or at least they're spawns of the geniuses. If y'all ain't starting to get this shit, I don't know what but I'll keep doing these. If this is valuable information, I'll do another one of some different dudes, and we'll see if they sound any different.
You funded.
So we basically broke down all the banks and all the steps to go ahead and get funded. Gave them the information. Yo, y'all do this when we log off this challenge. It's from 7 to 8. 8 to 9, and then VIP coming earlier. When they got off, by the time we got on the
Oh, by the way, I didn't even mention what happens to the people who come into this scenario from the IG pages who have 450 credit scores, 550 credit scores. Oh, no worries. We'll just send you over to the homie who does credit repair, which is really a credit sweep. All they're going to do is have you file identity theft fraud. They'll go ahead and sign the police documents for you. They'll file the FTC claim for you. All you got to do is wait 30 days for your credit report to be cleared. So now you've done federal crime. You've gone into debt for 20% of whatever funding you got. And now it's your responsibility to run the plays, figure out where the deals are. Or I'm sure they have a way for them to figure out where the deals are for you, which probably cost you another arm and a leg.
It is a sickness.
Woo! Facebook group in the morning, it's just screenshots of, hey, I got 20,000, hey, I got 30,000, hey, I got 40,000, hey, I got 20,000, hey, I got 30,000, hey, I got 40,000, hey, I got 20,000. Like just nonstop screenshots on screenshots on screenshots.
So do y'all have like a specific? How do you know who's gonna get his money? Because Chase ain't giving nobody no money like that.
Yo, yes, they is. They just gave somebody. They just gave somebody $150,000 on one credit card. They just gave somebody else $100,000 on one credit card. You just have the credentials. Some people say that, but I just seen somebody get $150,000 on one credit card.
So you can go to
8 to 9 and 8 to 9. Screenshots on screenshots on screenshots.
So do y'all have like a specific? How do you know who's gonna get his money? Because Chase ain't giving nobody no money like that.
Yo, yes, they is. They just gave somebody. They just gave somebody $150,000 on one credit card. They just gave somebody else $100,000 on one credit card. You just have the credentials. Some people say that, but I just seen somebody get $150,000 on one credit card.
So you can go to anywhere and get this funding, or do y'all have a specific?
He got a specific list.
I'll give you recommendations of banks that I would tell you to go to that I've seen consistently give you high limits out the gate. You know, once you meet these certain criteria. And some people be scared of like, oh, I'm in personal debt or my credit bad is things that I'm gonna teach you to do. One of the plays that I'm gonna give them that I know for people that got personal debt, and then the only route they can take is for them to pay that debt off, to be able to get good credit, to get access to the money. I'm gonna teach them basically to get how to get $10,000 on their business side. So I got a play where we go to Sam's Club. So everybody knows Sam's Club to go get stuff from wholesale and stuff like that, but we can leverage.
I just told y'all Sam's Club severed. Wait a minute, because I could be lying too. Hang on, Sam's Club. Let me see if it's on the internet. I'm gonna have to do some research to see if Sam's Club and Synchrony still running, because I heard they was closing it off. But let's
them to get a $10,000 business credit card strictly.
Hold on. Don't say nothing gray area, bro.
No, I'm not saying nothing.
Right. No, I know when people start.
See, he felt. Look at David can feel it. He can smell it.
I go and they're like, all right, here's what you do. You go to Sam's Club. You ask for the manager, right? You get a Sam's Club card, okay? But make sure you use a debit card.
Nah.
Okay, so tell me to play.
No, so we going to Sam's Club. Sam's Clubs has a business membership, but they also have what people don't know is a business MasterCard that you can use anywhere. So everybody think that you probably have to only use this business Sam's Club card within Sam's Club, but you don't. So I can teach you how to get the $10,000 business MasterCard that we can use anywhere from Sam's Club to be able to leverage that to now take that money to pay off on your personal side, so you can pay off your personal debt, and then put you in position to go get access to the money from the banks that I tell you to go get lending from. And then I'll give you any bank that'll give you large amount of
That's
limits.
what I'm talking about, Miss DC. But I like to find receipts when I say stuff. I don't
Transfer the balance.
I like it.
Yeah.
No gray area. A lot of this is
No gray area.
A lot of this is public information too. It's just that we have to do the research. So that's why the 5-day challenge is so important, because we're going to show you how to do your own research, right? What websites to go on, so you can see the top 20 banks their financials is at the best, and how much money they're giving out. Like I talked about Chase earlier, what their strategy is. So we teach you, all right, these banks, this is their strategy on how they acquire customers. How do we use that to our advantage? So that's why it's just really having the information and education, which is what we're going to be breaking down.
Actually, everybody talking about this AI stuff. Actually, man, we can use that stuff now. We putting into the system what's the best, high limit credit cards that give you 0% interest. What's the best 10? And then now the chat GPT is tapping in for you.
He did that in front of my face.
Give you all the top 10 in the whole world. Was the best 10. You know what I mean? You ask the specific questions and it spit it out 10 banks that you can go to. I'll tell them you can go do that, and that'll give you a good list. Out the
That's
gate.
lit.
Yeah,
dang, that's hard.
Yeah.
I just noticed your shirt says street credit. No street credit. We need business credit. That's hard, actually. That's hard. All right. Thank you, man. I've enjoyed this conversation. I learned a lot. And I get a chance to learn. This is literally my hack. The only reason I do this podcast is because I get like free coaching sessions. You know what I mean?
That's the best.
So I use you guys to pick your brain. So this is good. And it really actually, while you was talking, I saw Kay over there just looking like, what?
Like, damn.
I could do what?
Like, dang.
So if y'all don't mind, give Kay a little coaching session over there. I saw her. Normally she just be right on her computer, but she stopped and was like, okay, so 45, just put it on the LLC. I'll put you on my LLC. Don't worry about it, Kay. All right. Well, not really. I'm just trying to. Okay. No promises. You got great credit?
You do?
Oh, so you could turn up.
Oh, yeah.
You can really want to play.
See?
That's lit.
This is a good moment right here.
They can come on the chime for
this
free.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because you got good credit, but you don't know what to do. And you excel like really fast.
What's your credit score? You want to get approved right now?
746.
You want to get some money right now?
Do it.
They can't wait.
Do it.
I'll get her funded 20,000 right now.
She get funded 20,000.
Let's all just give her a card real quick.
A person. Hold on.
I want to do it on live right now. She's sitting right here in 10 minutes. We can get her
You can
approved.
show her how to get some
10
money
to 20,000.
She's gonna get approved.
You want to get access to capital now? You want to try it? All right, go ahead. So give K a mic. You can sit right here. So is there a specific place that you're gonna show her to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna give her one of my high limit credit unions. So credit unions is the most lenient banks when it comes to
do a pre-approval, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna give her a pre-approval. I go the route of pre-approval for they can scan it with no hard pull, of course, to see they're gonna scan her credit report and give her a limit that they feel like they'll give her. And then if they say it's approved, pre-approved for 20,000, she's in a great space.
Let me ask this question: before she gets approved, checking your credit, doesn't that hurt your credit?
No, we check our credits for free. They don't hurt your credit. This is what you're probably talking about. When a banks look at your credit and they want to pull it to see how good you're doing and how trustworthy you are with what you're doing already, and they hard pull it, then it's going to give you a hard inquiry on your credit report. That's when they affect your credit. But usually when we're doing a pre-approval process, it's a soft pull, meaning it's like a semi-scan, but not a hard pull, so you don't get affected by it.
Doesn't get affected at all.
It don't get affected at all.
So I want to just highlight this because if you don't want the money, you don't got to
take it. Yeah.
And it won't pull your credit. So it's really just
when we got offline.
It's up to you. So you don't. There's no risk involved neither. I just want to make that clear.
So
you don't got to pull your credit.
So what would she do with this money?
It will be the crazy thing is she can do whatever she wants to do. Whatever.
Don't buy a couch. Don't buy gas. Like we need to have a plan.
She do need to have a plan. So I like to just tell people it's okay to shelf the money too. I shelved my money and then I went out and got the education on what I should do with the money first. So I shelved my money. I got $100,000 with my credit and I didn't do nothing with it because I can shelf my credit card. See, with loans, can't shelf it. You got to start paying back the monthly payment. But if I got 10 credit cards with $10,000 limits on them and I shelf it, I just got my $100K sitting for me for the opportunities to present themselves or me to go educate myself where to put the money. You know what I mean?
Got you. All right, so I got four.
The question is always going to be, if you have 10 $10,000 credit cards, which equals $100,000. First of all, there's not 10 business credit cards out there that are going to offer you 12 months, 0 APR. So what's happening with the interest on these cards should you choose to go then use the funding that's available on these cards? You run out of the time, you shelf it for, let's just say you shelf it for 8 out of the 12 months, right? You shelf it for 8 out of the 12 months. You get into a deal where you utilize most of the credit. Month 5 hits. And now you have a compounded bill due, because that's what happens with credit, you guys. I hope you guys understand that. When you're in a 0% interest rate territory of a credit card, the interest is still running on the purchase. It's just deferred. Should you not pay off the balance, they will go back as far as the very first purchase and compound that interest from day one on whatever balance is left over. 0% interest rate cards can get you in more trouble than anything else because you think you're safe, right? It's just like a condom. You know what happens when you got a condom on you. You're a little more reckless than when you are without it. Same thing. So with this particular scenario, this dude, man, this is a dangerous ass dude. This is a dangerous dude. The other two, this one is going to get people hurt. Maybe. The blood condom busts up just like a compound interest. That's right, bro. The hole in the tip is that compound interest. Your ass is grass. So I want you guys to take this information because there is some good information here, but there's a lot of holes to poke in these stories. Everything is cool when the scenarios are perfect. Perfect credit score. You get all the funding you needed. You didn't have to really use the funding. The funding that you did use got paid back because whatever you used it on sold immediately. Like everything has to work out in tandem, including these dudes actually knowing what the hell they talking about when you buy their course so they could teach you what to do with the funding that you shouldn't have had in the first place.
4 minutes.
This is
hot. Let's do this. So just, I guess, tell her where to go.
All right, cool.
And this is so disingenuous.
Yeah, tell her where to go.
Anybody with a good credit score, I can tell you where to go.
This is decent.
Right now.
I got a question for you while they do that.
What's up?
This is super random. I always want to ask you, why Cheesecake Factory menu so big?
Huh?
Why Cheesecake Factory menu so big? Like it's 20 pages.
I don't know.
Random.
It is tiny.
Mad random.
I like
like
pictures.
Random. Cause you brought Cheesecake Factory earlier and it just hit my mind like
Yo, you know
we
what
got
I had to do,
downtime.
though? You know what I had to do? And everybody has to do it. Like every server. We have to not only study and know every item, but we have to know all of the ingredients in every item.
It's 10 time to get the 4 minutes.
Where the camera at? It's right here.
Right, yeah.
Can I go up to it?
I don't know if you can see it.
Let me go try.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
But then I
told
won't
you
be able
this.
to hear you.
What's
So.
so
The truth.
Here, no, I have a zoom in. I have a zoom right on my camera.
What?
Oh, wow. Special lifetime Belgian $9,000.
Boom.
He's in a 1 minute conversation. Her being in
Congratulations, Kaylin. Select you pre-qualified.
I guarantee you I get a 20 grand right now. Live on this podcast, he just showed you that whatever it is that they're selling, odds are, even with a good credit score, which most of y'all ain't got, you still could be underfunded. Now that $9,000 is hers. That $9,000 is hers. What's she going to do with $9,000? What's she going to do with $9,000? Now, if she wants to run the play, she has to go through his program, get all of these banks and credit issuers. She has to go through with funding for all of them. She has to now pay him his 20%, probably. And what's she going to do with it? Now she got to take the course. She got to hope to God they know what they're doing.
Qualified. Nine, you can't really see it that well.
Good question, Ms. DC.
Shoot,
Right?
yeah,
So
10 more
$9
minutes.
grand.
We'll do another 3 of them.
Earning, it's not.
Where they be at 50.
So
Yeah, 50K
so
on
you
the
get
thing.
you get
You don't have to take it though. You can
so
She thinking about
so
it.
she can but she can take it though.
if she wanted, then they're
Don't
going
take it unless you're gonna do something with the money.
So don't
Or
take it.
well,
She don't have to take it right now. We
Or
can talk about it.
You
and we
know
can
that
just-
you know the play now. Wait, and then you can always go back and do it.
whenever
you know the
you're
bank.
ready.
You know
But
what
I'm just
do,
showing
do
you
it.
that's how much. That's just one. We can actually go get 10 different ones, and you see how much money we can get. But that's the value.
so
of,
let me ask you. Say she gets that one, she can get approved for another one, and then approved for another one, and approved for another one, all in the same day.
on the same day. We can get. I'd say probably go 3 or 4 a day. I wouldn't go get 10. But if you do it the strategic way, so this is how you got to do it if you want to do it that way. We got to go to banks that's going to approve through Experian first, and then Equifax, and then TransUnion. So now we're getting one inquiry in each bureau. So we applying strategically.
Oh, so you know which bank is going to pull from Experian
This
first.
is true,
Yes.
except for some banks.
And another one might pull from TransUnion first.
Yes.
They don't even know about each other.
Yes.
This is true.
Yes. So then if I get 3 different credit cards, she just got proof of 9,000.
Same
We use her.
girl.
We got
This is
3
true.
different ones.
Look at her face.
Like you got to do it like 3 different girls around the city, like
Same
yo,
girl.
west side don't really rock the east side, so you get
Love
west
of my
side, east
life.
side, south side. They ain't never gonna find themselves at the same club because they're different.
I'll be able to get her $100,000 easy.
Today.
Yeah.
Dang.
Within
Not
a few
today.
days, we can be able to get her $100,000 easy. That's the value of this. And then let's just say she had $0, literally. She can be up 6 figures within 3 days.
Hold up, real quick. I know we got to close, but I want you to actually give her a play right now with the land. Give her the land move right now, because that 9,000, she could go buy
Oh,
some land
yeah.
and flip that and make some money.
Yeah.
I want to. We got to close it because
Okay.
my next
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
We can this thing can roll.
But yeah, so listen, join their challenge to tell you the story on the challenge.
Yeah.
Tell everybody how to get in touch with y'all, and one, let everybody know how to get in touch with you all individually, and then like the importance of jumping on.
Got you. So my Instagram is DSBOONE.
Mogul.
By the way, I want you guys to go follow each of these dudes. I want you guys to watch their Instagram videos. I want you guys to think about this podcast. If you remember some of the things I said, think about some of those things. Now you have the ability to go back and judge the Instagram content with a proper mindset.
Lifestyle __
Smitty the GOAT _
I got you. And what should we do to get started? How do we close your computer so we can see a little bit? So, all right, so we need a spokesperson.
What you mean?
Doing really good. Tell everybody how to get into the challenge. How do we do it?
So to get in the challenge, all you have to do is go to letsfundyourfreedom.com. So the whole purpose of this is so we can fund you, so we can get you into businesses that's going to create freedom from the cash flow. So letsfundyourfreedom.com. And we strongly recommend to go VIP, because when you go VIP, you're getting extra time with us, extra game, extra everything. General admission, you're going to get on the challenge, but VIP, you get an extra whole hour with us just to talk,
Look at this.
ask questions, and we're going to
look at this. Somebody look at this. Grab your ticket today. Limited stops available. Who in their right mind built this website in the name of Jesus.com? Who in the...
You supposed to stop. Y'all keep talking. Huh? You keep talking, man. And you shut the fuck up.
Ain't even had nobody edit the damn website. Y'all, limited stops available. Y'all gone and did it here again. How many stops do you have to have? $4.97. Let me see. Hold on. I've seen them. I'm a pocket watcher as well as I follow you. So it's like going to the circus to watch the balancing act. Lord Jesus. Yeah, pocket watching with JT is it. I love JT. He be a little loud sometimes, but I love him. I'd be a little loud too. So general admission. 5 days to the Fund Your Freedom Challenge. Access to private Facebook community. Let's see what happens at the big dog level. Access an exclusive virtual platinum networking night. Virtual platinum networking. I wonder what that is. Daily accountability calls. Access to an executive exclusive Telegram chat. 500 plus 20% of whatever your funding is. And hopefully you figure out how to run the play. Listen, I appreciate you guys for allowing me to do this. I hope that I was able to bring some value along with a little bit of levity to this conversation. For me, it's important to be able to go through videos like this because I'm tired of getting the DMs of the videos. Jay, what do you think about this? Jay, what do you think about this? If y'all have any content that you come across, any podcasts, any Instagram videos, email them to me at justj@jwoodfin.com. That's justj@jwoodfin.com. I'll put my email in the description of the video before I post it. But I want to be able to take a look at more content like this because I don't know why it took me so long to realize this, but it just dawned on me that maybe the solution, but that really ain't a solution for most, but maybe the idea is not in responding to the singular people, but utilizing the questions and the information that's being brought to me to educate the masses, or to at least expose you guys to the truth and allow you to be able to make educated and well-informed decisions, or at least better informed decisions. So I appreciate you guys. I know we only had like 20 people on at max, but maybe this will start to get out a little bit so that we can all watch these podcasts, ask questions together, come up with solutions. Maybe there's some medium here of how we can all learn how to properly run the play together without being feloniously led into the pit of financial despair. Once again, I'm Jay Woodfin. This podcast is brought to you by, this live was brought to you by 750approved.com. If you guys have negative items on your credit report that you want to be able to dispute yourself, 750approved.com will let you do it for $49 a month plus credit monitoring. Other than that, I appreciate you guys. And I'll do another live maybe tomorrow, man. If this is what you guys want, we'll run it again. Y'all take care.